Chapter 1820. Boom. A loud explosion resounded in the sky filled with dazzling sparks. As it approached the divine flame pearl, it was violently jolted back. His face was pale, and a trace of blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. His expression was one of unwillingness as he landed on his stone pillar. A banner embroidered with a silver fox hung on that stone pillar. A group of unruly star venerates with surging killing chi gathered around the banner. The space between their brows was filled with hostility. With one look, one could tell that they were ruthless pirates who had killed countless people. It still won't work. Even a sovereign personage would not be able to break through the foe god might here, said the middle-aged man indignantly after he landed on the ground. This man was the pirate overlord of the Infinite Star Sea, the captain of the Silver Lake Pirate Group, also known as Holy Sage Silver Fox. As Xiaochen stood beside Yinjia, he sized up the surroundings. He was somewhat surprised to discover some familiar people. The one in the lead was the Fantasy Cloud Pavilion's young master, Ocean Yun, whom Xiaochen had met in the pirate hall. He was the one who had sold the black tortoise's shell to him. He was also the one who sent people to kill him. This fellow occupied a stone pillar alone, not even bothering to look at the spirit jades and soul tools on it. He stared at the pillar of divine fire, his eyes full of desire and the flames of ambition flickering in them. The true inheritors of the Fantasy Cloud sect surrounded him, each occupying a stone pillar by themselves. They occupied an area and had a holy venerate elder overseeing it. Their overall strength was extremely strong. However, even if these true inheritors were from the same sect, there would definitely be intense competition for the foe god flame. The situation of the other two great demonic Dao sects, the Heavenly Eagle Castle and the Blood Demon Palace, was similar. The true disciples each occupied a stone pillar. The old acquaintance, Yang Feng, was also here. It wasn't surprising that Lin Yun was delayed by a few days to subdue the Imperial Sword Herb. Along the way, he had cleared the checkpoints alone, so it was normal for this person to be ahead of him. Other than that, there were also some wandering cultivators who formed groups of 2s and 3s. Like the Silver Fox, the other two 7-star pirate gangs in the Infinite Star Sea, the Bloody Shadow Pirate Gang and the Fierce Gale Pirate Gang, also raised their banners and gathered in one direction. Xiao. Yinjia brought Xiaochen and landed on the stone pillar where Elder Chai was. "Young man, we meet again," Elder Chai said with a fake smile when he saw Xiaochen. Xiaochen answered with a grunt. There was also a pile of spirit jades on this stone pillar. A soul tool hovered above the spirit jades. Superior grade spirit jades. Upon closer inspection, Xiaochen discovered that the stone pillars surrounding the divine flame pillars were all filled with superior grade spirit jades. Compared to medial grade spirit jades, superior grade spirit jades were of much higher quality. One superior grade spirit jades was equivalent to thousands or even tens of thousands of medial grade spirit jades. Even in the Great Thousand Realms, there were pitifully few spirit veins that could produce superior grade spirit jades. Moreover, without exception, they were all occupied by some holy lands, dynasties and rank 7 sects. Xiaochen wondered what this group of people was thinking. There was a pile of superior grade spirit jades before them, yet they treated it like nothing. Xiaochen kept staring at the foe god flame. It was like if he focused on the superior grade spirit jades, the foe god flame would brush past him if he delayed. Yinjia and Elder Chai spoke in low voices. Xiaochen could not be bothered with them. He directly started to break the restrictions on the superior grade spirit jades. Compared to the medial grade spirit jades from before, the restrictions on the superior grade spirit jades were much stronger. However, they were definitely not as strong as the restrictions on the soul tools. It was only a matter of time before Xiaochen broke them. Boom. The sword intent soared into the clouds. Such a strange movement immediately startled the surrounding people staring at the foe god flame. "Yinjia, when did you sneak back here again?" The Silver Fox Pirate Group's captain's gaze lingered on Xiaochen for only a moment before shifting to Yinjia, who had returned. "Hehe, you even brought along a young man who is greedy for money. Ahaha. He is only a major primal core venerate. I wonder if the restrictions will shake him to death. Yinjia, aren't you going to help?" When the pirates spoke, they were very carefree. As they looked at Xiaochen's actions, their eyes filled with disdain. Anyone with some experience here would not care about superior grade spirit jades compared to the foe god flame. Superior grade spirit jades were simply nothing. Even if Xiaochen wanted to make a move, it would be more reliable to obtain the soul tools. Collecting the spirit jades made others look down on him. Everyone here had status. If they were not holy venerates, they were true inheritors of rank 6 sections. Their experience was not low. Yinja showed a slightly embarrassed expression. He had not expected Xiaochen to suddenly make a move on this pile of spirit jades. However, he discovered that Xiaochen did not care at all, continuing to break the restrictions on the superior grade spirit jades. Little brother Chen, I'll help you collect these spirit jades later. There is no rush. Yinja coughed twice and looked at Xiaochen. Xiaochen said casually, "It's fine. Go about your business. In any case, you are just standing around." "It's you." Two people in the crowd showed shock in their eyes. One of them burned with rage, and the other showed a murderous intent in his eyes. Naturally, the one burning with rage was Yang Feng. He turned his head and said to the leading elder of the Heavenly Eagle Castle, "Elder Gao, he is the white-robed mad demon who killed my sect's core disciples." With two holy venerates by Xiaochen's side, naturally, Yang Feng did not dare to make a move. He could only turn his gaze to the Heavenly Eagle Castle's holy venerate elder. Haha. Is he also the person who kicked junior brother Fei Yang? The other true inheritor of the Heavenly Eagle Castle mocked softly. Elder Gao and the top true inheritor of the sect, Long Tingyu, stood on a stone pillar. Long Tingyu opened his eyes, and a brilliant light flickered in them. "Elder, this person is somewhat strange. If he is useless, Yinja would not have brought him here for no reason. We can test him." Elder Gao sent a voice projection. "That is exactly what I was thinking." Elder Gao raised his gaze and fixed it on Yinja. "Captain Yan, please hand over this person beside you. He killed more than 10 of my Heavenly Eagle Castle's core disciples. If you do not hand him over, the Heavenly Eagle Castle will treat you as an accomplice. Yinja, this fellow also killed my Fantasy Cloud sect's core disciples, and several outer administrators. His crimes are unforgivable. If you do not hand him over today, my Fantasy Cloud sect will treat you as an accomplice as well." Just as Elder Gao finished speaking, the voice of the illusory Cloud sect's leading elder rang out. The situation immediately turned interesting. Two great demonic Dao sects actually wanted people at the same time. Yinja immediately felt a headache coming on. Since when did this Xiaochen create such a huge problem? Before Yinja could plan how to use Xiaochen, someone already targeted him. Yinja turned his head to look at Xiaochen. He saw that Xiaochen was still anxiously breaking the restrictions on the superior grade spirit jades, as if nothing had happened. Damn it! This bastard's ability to cause trouble is really heaven-defying. Previously, Xiaochen helped me destroy the Silver Fox Pirate Group's young master. This time he actually offended two great demonic Dao sects at the same time. Could it be that he wants me to help him deal with this? Yinja looked at Senior Chai. However, Senior Chai remained expressionless as he said indifferently, "It has already come to this. No matter how you plan, it is already too late. Just say it in advance. The sooner you say it, the better." Yinja immediately cursed in his heart. He knew that this Senior Chai had no intention of competing for the foe god flame. He mainly wanted some natural treasures that could extend one's life. There was no need to worry too much. Two great demonic Dao sects wanted to cause trouble at the same time, and Senior Chai expressed his neutrality. After thinking for a while, Yinja suddenly smiled and said, "This Yin has no connection with this little brother. I only brought him here because of some fortuitous encounters." At this crucial moment, Yinja made a decision. He could not offend the two great demonic Dao sects for Xiaochen. The two great demonic Dao sects were horrifying factions with sovereign personages and many holy venerate elders. They were much stronger than 7-star pirate groups. Yinja could not afford to take this blame. Xiaochen, who was currently breaking the restrictions, revealed a mocking smile. He was not surprised. It was already very impressive that this cheap big brother of his could act for so long. In that case, why are you still not handing him over? The two demonic Dao sect elders pressed forward with an aggressive aura. Yinja smiled and said, "I really cannot hand him over. He is the one who opened the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's treasure trove. He is the only one who can break through the faux god might and enter the treasure pillar with the divine flame. What? The moment Yenja said that, a huge commotion immediately broke out. Some of the people who originally did not care about this matter focused their gazes on Xiaoqun. The person who could enter the treasure pillar with the divine flame and break the stalemate was a major primal core venerate? Or was he the one who opened the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's treasure trove? That was impossible. There were so many of them, older generation holy venerates and outstanding talents of the demonic Dao sections. Who knew how many methods they had tried? All of them returned empty-handed. An insignificant major primal core venerate could enter the treasure pillar with the divine flame? Many questions gathered in everyone's mind. Only one word appeared in everyone's mind: disbelief. The elders of the two great devil sects were also shocked. They didn't expect that after a round of interrogation, they would actually get such a result. Words are no proof. Captain Yen, you have to prove it. Elder Gao said coldly as he stared at Yenja. Yenja felt helpless that the situation had turned out like this. However, at this point he could not be bothered to overthink it. He only hoped to break the stalemate quickly. Given his and Senior Chai's strength, they still had a high chance of obtaining the faux god flame. Senior Chai's strength was even more terrifying than many people imagined. As long as he was around, Yenja had a 60% chance of success. It was worth a gamble. However, if this continued and the demonic Dao sect's sovereign personages arrived, Senior Chai would not be strong enough, and Yenja would not have any hope. Little brother Xiao, this is your only chance to preserve your life. Prove it to everyone. Yenja took out the Scarlet Blood War banner and handed it to Xiaoqun. Xiaoqun did not turn around or care about Yenja. He continued to break the restrictions on the superior grade spirit stones. Yenja showed a somewhat embarrassed expression. Everyone's gazes were focused on this place. However, Xiaoqun still acted like nothing had happened. All he cared about was the superior grade spirit stones. No one knew what Xiaoqun was thinking. Brat, quickly prove that you open the Scarlet Blood War treasure trove. Quickly. If you can climb the pillar with the divine flame, I'll give you 10,000 superior grade spirit jades. As long as you can remove the faux god might, I'll give you 100,000 superior grade spirit jades. Although Xiaoqun was not in a rush, the group of holy venerate experts became anxious. Some of the unruly pirates even could not hold back and showed signs of snatching Xiaoqun away. Just as everyone's patience reached its limit, Xiaoqun finally subdued the pile of superior grade spirit jades and slowly turned around. Xiaoqun glanced at Yenja, then at the anxious crowd. Then he smiled faintly and said, "Since everyone hopes that I can climb the pillar with the divine flame, I will not stand on ceremony." Chapter 1821. Someone needed to break this stalemate, especially someone who was only a major primal core venerate. This was because such a cultivation would not be able to endure the inheritance of the faux god flame. If one's cultivation was too low, their soul would explode. Most importantly, in their opinion, Xiaoqun was a major primal core venerate. So what if he could climb the divine flame pillar? He could still kill him if he wanted to. If it was someone else, such as Yenja or Elder Chai, the situation would definitely be different. The instant Xiaoqun received the Scarlet Blood War banner, his aura suddenly changed. The war banner flapped loudly, giving off a faint scarlet light. The situation suddenly changed. Xiaoqun's body seemed to be covered by a layer of invisible light, becoming the main character of this space. It made people unable to ignore him, and uncontrollably focus their attention on Xiaoqun. Kacha kacha. The flags of the 3 7-star pirate crews started to tremble violently. Cracks even appeared on the flagpoles. He really obtained the acknowledgement of the Scarlet Blood War banner. Quickly put away the Silver Fox War banner. The Silver Fox Holy Venerate's expression changed drastically. Daring to raise his flag before the legendary Pirate King's war flag was undoubtedly a form of mockery. There was naturally a price to pay for mocking the King War banner. Blood Shadow and Violent Gale, the two great pirate groups, also hurriedly put away their war flags. If they persisted, the war banner would definitely be damaged under such pressure. A strong aura spread out from Xiaoqun's body. Standing beside Xiao Chun, Yinjia, Senior Chai, and the others frowned slightly. With a light tap of his feet, he landed on another stone pillar. At this moment, there was no need for him to prove himself. When Xiao Chun grasped the war banner, everyone believed Yinjia's words. The scarlet blood treasure was indeed Xiao Chun's. There was indeed only one person who could climb the treasure pillar of divine fire. Ha ha ha, Yinjia, you didn't lie after all. Brat, hurry up and ascend the divine flame pillar. Take out the faux god flame. The Blood Shadow pirate group's captain could not help but laugh loudly. The stalemate continued for a long time. The various holy venerates present all tried countless methods. However, they were unable to climb the divine flame pillar. Now that hope was right before their eyes, they were all extremely excited. Junior, what are you waiting for? Quickly climb the treasure pillar with the divine flame, and retrieve the faux god flame for us. Why are you dilly-dallying? Do you want to die? Hurry up or I'll kill you. All kinds of impatient noises could be heard, and all kinds of angry words were directed at Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun sneered in his heart. His expression was calm and indifferent. This won't do. Before I go up, I have to leave a restriction on his body. Unlike the others, Yinjia knew that Xiao Chun was not as simple as he looked. He was not an ordinary major primal core venerate. If he was allowed to ascend the pillar of divine fire, something uncontrollable might happen. It was necessary to leave a countermeasure in case anything went wrong. Xiao Chun's expression did not change, but he frowned slightly. Yinjia had completely shed his disguise. That's right. It's good to leave a restriction behind, lest that little bastard try anything funny. You, Yinjia, can leave a restriction in his body. Our Heavenly Eagle Castle. Right after Yinjia spoke, the Heavenly Eagle Castle's Yangfeng immediately chimed in. Right, that's right. Our Fantasy Cloud sect needs to leave a restriction in his body as well. Ojingyun said coldly as his eyes flickered. That makes sense. Our Fantasy Cloud sect needs to leave a restriction in his body as well. Ha ha ha. Of course, our Blood Shadow pirate group needs to leave a restriction in his body as well. Ha ha ha. Of course, my Silver Fox pirate group can't miss out on such a thing. After Yinjia stirred up trouble, he immediately got people to speak up one after another, saying that they wanted to leave a restriction in Xiao Chun's body as well. The four holy venerates and the various true inheritors all looked at Xiao Chun like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. There was no respect in their eyes at all, and their words were impudent. Interesting. All of you are shouting so happily. When did I agree to your request? To ask you to leave a restriction in my body? Amidst the clamor, a bone-chilling voice suddenly rang out. Xiao Chun's gaze swept through the surroundings, passing through the faces of the people making a fuss. As Xiao Chun's cold gaze drifted around, the clamor slowly calmed down. Humph! Are you qualified to retort? You are just a mere major primal core venerate, and you dare to be so unbridled before us? Don't forget that your life is still in the hands of our Heavenly Eagle Castle and the Fantasy Cloud sect. When Yang Feng saw Xiao Chun's gaze, he raged in his heart. He continued coldly, You trash, don't think of playing any tricks. I told you to be obedient, so be obedient. Don't think that you are the reincarnation of the Scarlet Blood Pirate King. Just because of this. Xiao Chun shifted his gaze and fixed it on Yang Feng. He did not say anything, only looking at him coldly. Seeing Xiao Chun's gaze, Yang Feng felt extremely pleased. What's wrong? Feeling sullen? Here, we are either holy venerates or rank 6 demonic Dao sect true inheritors. In terms of identity, status, and strength, who can you compare to? Just be obedient and listen to me. Yang Feng shifted his gaze and knelt in Elder Gao's direction. Elder Gao, please let me make a move and teach him a lesson. Obediently leave a restriction in his body to show the might of my Heavenly Eagle Castle. Elder Gao's expression turned sullen, feeling extremely upset in his heart. Yang Feng killed so many core disciples of my Heavenly Eagle Castle. Yet he still dares to retort. Does he not know what kind of situation he is in? This is too unbridled. Very well. Yang Feng, I permit you to make a move. Leave a restriction on my Heavenly Eagle Castle, and teach him to be more obedient. Yang Feng showed wild joy on his face. He could finally teach this fellow a lesson and wash away his previous humiliation. Yang Feng knelt on one knee and performed a cupped fist salute with a smile. This disciple obeys. I will definitely not humiliate my heavenly eagle castle. Ah! But before he could finish his words, he saw a blade of grass silently fly over. In the next moment, a resplendent sword light burst out of Yang Feng's body, immediately cutting off all signs of life. Sword holes appeared all over his body, and blood spurted out like a fountain. Yang Feng still maintained his kneeling posture. The joyful smile on his face did not fade away, instead freezing. Yang Feng. Elder Gao showed a startled expression as he looked at Yang Feng. This was simply inconceivable. The late-stage star venerate Yang Feng, a heavenly eagle castle true inheritor, died in the blink of an eye before Elder Gao. Absurd. Absurd. This is simply absurd. Senior brother Yang. Junior brother Yang. Boom. When the many heavenly eagle castle true inheritors and the leading elders called out, Yang Feng finally responded. The sword intent in his body accumulated and exploded wildly. The resplendent sword light soared into the clouds. Flesh and blood flew everywhere, a cruel sight to behold. The scene was dead silent. Everyone had a look of disbelief on their faces. As they looked at Xiao Chun, horror flashed in their eyes. This young man was terrifyingly calm. He had made his move without making a sound. When Yang Feng knelt on one knee with his side facing Xiao Chun directly attacked without hesitation. Xiao Chun killed a rank 6 sect true inheritor on a whim. Even if some of the holy venerates among them could kill Yang Feng, they would not dare to do so in front of Elder Gao. It was a little too daring, too lawless. Such decisiveness in killing and boldness were something that many ambitious and ruthless people of the demonic Tao could not compare to. What was a demon? A demon was a person's pride and unyielding character. A demon was innately proud. They were extraordinary. Those who humiliated me died. Those who scolded me died. Those who killed me had to die. As Yanjia looked at Xiao Chun, he was so shocked that he could not close his mouth. It was like at this moment he truly got to know Xiao Chun. This white-clad bladesman before Yanjia was much more terrifying than he had imagined. From the very start, Yanjia could not control Xiao Chun. Yanjia felt some regret in his heart. He should not have brought Xiao Chun here. This is impossible. Elder Gao somewhat lost his rationality. He turned his head and looked at Xiao Chun, his eyes filled with confusion. Xiao Chun's expression remained calm, not showing any fluctuations. It was like everything that happened earlier was not his doing. Elder Gao clenched his teeth and enunciated every word clearly. You killed him. Xiao Chun replied indifferently. If someone wants to kill me, I will definitely kill them. Good. 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 If someone wants to kill me, I will definitely kill them. Heavenly Eagle Castle disciples, heed my orders. Immediately kill this white-clad thief. Roger. The enraged Elder Gao snorted coldly. The remaining 5 true inheritors of the Heavenly Eagle Castle did not dare to attack. Aside from the top true inheritor, Long Tingyu, the others all soared into the air and charged at Xiao Chun. They circulated their demonic Tao cultivation techniques and forcefully absorbed the power of everything in the world. Their auras soared continuously. They soared into the air, looking like a mountain range, a river, or a surging sea. Good timing. Xiao Chun laughed loudly, and his eyes shone with golden light. He instantly activated his great desolate Ian Overlord class bloodline. Xiao Chun reared his head back and roared. A dragon roar spread out in all directions. The terrifying dragon might immediately knocked away the foe god might in the surroundings. I am a true dragon, born with a lofty character and filled with hot-bloodedness. Why would I fear a battle? Chapter 1822. Kill. The Heavenly Eagle Castle's demonic cultivation technique focused on aura. Once they circulated their demonic cultivation technique, the Heavenly Eagle Castle's demonic cultivation technique would explode. Once they circulated their demonic cultivation technique, they would extract the aura of everything in the world at all times. The longer they used it, the stronger their aura would be. They gave off an endless feeling. The cultivators who fought with them would all feel extremely sullen. This was a completely unreasonable fighting method. As long as one took a step back, one could forget about advancing further. This was because the other party's next strike would definitely have an aura that was twice as strong as the previous strike, perhaps even several times stronger. What did it mean to be unreasonable? That was exactly what it meant. However, today this group of people met Xiao Chun, who was even more unreasonable than them. When the 4 Heavenly Eagle Castle true inheritors worked together to charge over, Xiao Chun instantly activated his Blue Dragon bloodline, an Overlord-class bloodline of the ancient Great Desolate Aeon. At this moment, Xiao Chun unleashed it without holding anything back. The terrifying aura even temporarily knocked away the foe god might. Without the suppression of the foe god might, the 4 immediately felt their physical bodies relax. However, this relaxation did not last for even a second. In the next moment, a dragon might even more terrifying than the foe god might surged over. Boom! The 4 suddenly suffered a heavy blow, and their expressions changed drastically. They all felt their bodies plummet toward the deep abyss like lead balls. In that instant, these 4 revealed horrified expressions. Once they fell into the deep abyss, they would die without a burial. That would truly be dying without a burial. Even a holy venerate would not be able to escape death, smashed into meat paste. No one could survive. Elder Gao's expression changed slightly, and he immediately wanted to help. However, Long Tingyu stopped him. Elder Gao, this is not a good time to make a move. Those old fellows are watching. The next moment, Elder Gao realized that if he was injured in any way, he would not be able to escape. If Xiao Chun got injured, he would not be a match for the other holy venerates at all. Furthermore, those who can become my Heavenly Eagle Castle's true inheritors are all skilled. How could they fall so easily? A crafty light flashed in Long Tingyu's eyes. He shouted, "Junior brothers, don't hold back anymore. Quickly capture that white-clad thief." The moment Long Tingyu said that, the people of the other factions could no longer hold back. If the Heavenly Eagle Castle's people really captured Xiao Chun, then the foe god flame would end up in the Heavenly Eagle Castle's hands. The leading elder of the Fantasy Cloud sect said, "Quickly make a move. We absolutely cannot let the Heavenly Eagle Castle's people capture that brat." Roger. Aside from Xiahou Yuan, the 5 true disciples of the Fantasy Cloud sect, including Ou Jinyun, moved out at the same time. All of you, wait for an opportunity to strike. If there's a chance, snatch him over. A cold light flashed in the Silver Fox Holy Venerate's eyes as he instructed his late-stage Star Venerate subordinates beside him. Hee, I guarantee it will be a piece of cake. Immediately, the true inheritors of the 3 Demon Royal Halls and the experts of the 3 7-star pirate groups took action. In their eyes, Xiao Chun had become a delicious cake that they had to fight over. The situation was completely out of control. Yanji's gaze was gloomy as his gaze descended onto Xiao Chun, and his killing intent was like a blazing flame that burned fiercely. The 4 Heavenly Eagle Castle true inheritors finally brought out their trump cards. Under the pressure of Xiao Chun's strong dragon might, they forcefully climbed up the stone pillar where Xiao Chun was. When they looked at Xiao Chun, they did not hesitate to surround him. Thunder Dragon 9 transformations. However, no matter how fast they were, how could they be faster than Xiao Chun, who had been waiting for a long time? The moment the 4 climbed up the stone pillar, they executed their killing moves. However, this time, the Thunder Dragon 9 transformations did not split up. Instead, the attack power of the 81 saber strikes of the 9 transformations all gathered into one move. In that instant, the Scarlet Blood War banner in Xiao Chun's hand pierced through the chest of one of the 4 true inheritors, sending him flying into the deep abyss. Startled cries rang out, but Xiao Chun's hands did not stop moving. The primal chaos veritable essence energy in his 9-star primal core spun, and the Taiji force field instantly formed. With the support of the horrifying dragon might, Xiao Chun's Taiji energy became even more clingy. The 3 true inheritors in the depths could only bring out 60% of their strength. That was already their limit. Dang. 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 One man and one banner, Xiao Chun easily dealt with the 3's attacks. The dragon might from the ancient blue dragon firmly suppressed the 3's auras. This prevented the 3 from bringing out the characteristics of their demonic cultivation techniques. From start to end, Xiao Chun suppressed them. It looked like the experts of the Fantasy Cloud sect and the other factions would charge over soon. Xiaochen did not want to drag this out. He stabbed the Scarlet Blood War banner into the ground and quickly drew the tyrant saber with his right hand. With a saber in hand, Xiaochen was like a different person from without a saber. The saber Dao and the thunder Dao layered over each other. Then, Xiaochen executed an incredibly tyrannical thousand-army break. With the tyrant saber in hand, Xiaochen could block 1,000 soldiers alone. Break. The strong saber technique materialized a berserk saber wind that blew on the 3 Heavenly Eagle Castle true inheritors. The saber wind cut the 3's bodies, leaving them covered in wounds. The true inheritors did their best to block Xiaochen's killing move. However, after the Blue Dragon bloodline activated, their auras were firmly suppressed. The true inheritors could not circulate their demonic cultivation techniques. How could they block Xiaochen's saber strike? When the tyrant saber arrived, the might of Thousand Army break burst out, knocking the 3 out of the stone pillars and into the deep abyss. 10 moves. In less than 10 moves, the 4 true inheritors of the Heavenly Eagle Castle all lost. This was completely unexpected. Even Long Tingyu, who played a trick, did not expect this. Originally, Long Tingyu thought that these people should be more than enough to last until the experts of the other factions arrived. However, who could have imagined that when facing Xiaochen, who had activated his bloodline and held the terrain advantage, these people couldn't even last 10 moves? How terrifying! Is this the might of an overlord-class bloodline of the Great Desolate Aeon? Truly incredible! The top 100 of the Great Desolate Aeon bloodlines are all demonic geniuses. Among them, the Overlord-class Great Desolate Aeon bloodlines are even more heaven-defying. However, I have never heard of such a dragon race bloodline among the 6 dragon race bloodlines. Who cares about the dragon race bloodline or the Great Desolate Aeon bloodline? He cannot last for long. No matter how heaven-defying he is, he will reach the end soon. When the experts of the other 2 demonic Dao sects and the 3 pirate groups arrive, he will have no choice but to surrender. No matter how powerful his bloodline is, he will not be able to last for long. He might be awe-inspiring now, but he will become a dog later. Upon seeing Xiaochen kill the 4 true inheritors in 10 moves, the experts of the various factions felt shocked. However, they were all peerless experts with broad horizons. They could tell at a glance. With one glance, they could tell that Xiaochen relied on the power of his bloodline to suddenly erupt with such strong power. Even if Xiaochen erupted with the power of his bloodline, he would not have been able to kill the 4 true inheritors so easily elsewhere. Once the power of the bloodline was exhausted, Xiaochen would immediately revert to his original form, becoming a major primal core venerate that he could easily crush. He couldn't retreat now. He had to seize this opportunity to capture Xiaochen and control Xiaochen. Xiaochen's eyes shone with a dazzling golden light as he looked at the experts coming from all directions. His gaze was ice-cold, devoid of any emotions. Dragon might surged from Xiaochen's body. After activating his bloodline, he was no longer suppressed by this space. His aura surged violently, and the dragon's roar reverberated in all directions. He watched as these people surrounded him and approached him. Xiaochen was expressionless and didn't move at all. What is this guy trying to do? You know you can't escape death, so you've given up resisting? No matter how much he jumps around, he is still just an evil dragon. He can't possibly overturn the heavens. Seeing that Xiaochen did not take any action, the holy venerate experts observing the situation all started mocking him. However, just as the experts from all directions approached Xiaochen, the situation suddenly changed. Xiaochen's left hand quickly moved, forming a strange hand seal. It was like a lotus flower never touching water or the sun and moon never hanging high in the sky. Buddhist Sect's 7-kill seal. In that instant, Xiaochen's already horrifying aura soared 7-fold, turning into a pitch-black, veil-like killing chi that spread into the surroundings. Damn it. I can't move. This killing chi has already infiltrated my internal organs, limbs, bones, and even the depths of my soul. It's all his killing chi. It's over. What should I do? Immediately, fear spread throughout the bodies of the various experts in the depths of the killing chi. This was a fear that was stuck in their throats, unable to express. Horror filled their hearts. This feeling was 100 times more unbearable than suffocating. Kill. An expressionless Buddha appeared behind Xiaochen. At this moment, resolving the mundane cut off all emotions and desires, severing all attachments to the mundane world. The Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique's second move, resolving the mundane. Boom. An eternal saber light swept out, igniting the killing chi in the surroundings. Kaze. In this instant, the physical bodies and souls of all the attackers turned to dust. Not to mention that being emotionless was demonic, but becoming a Buddha with a thought was even more terrifying. The golden light in Xiaochen's eyes faded, and his great desolate Ian bloodline went dormant once more. Then his aura slowly recovered. However, the surroundings remained silent, not a single sound could be heard. The seemingly thin, white-clad youth standing beside the Scarlet Blood War banner held a saber in his hand as he looked around. It was like he was announcing who was the true ruler of this place. Chapter 1823. He made use of the great desolate Ian bloodline to stay for a final period of time. Xiaochen used the vast dragon might to turn it into a sevenfold killing chi to kill all the true inheritors and venerate experts who came to attack. His body and soul were annihilated. Such a cruel massacre inevitably stimulated the demonic nature in Xiaochen's body. As his long hair fluttered in the wind, his body emitted a terrifying demonic might. Even without the primordial dragon might, no one dared to underestimate this demonic might. Many of the demonic path experts present looked at the current Xiaochen. None of them dared to say that their demonic might was stronger than Xiaochen's. Yanji's expression changed. As he looked at Xiaochen, he exclaimed in shock, "You entered the demonic Tao." He remembered that when he first met Xiaochen did not have the slightest bit of demonic nature. He cultivated the righteous cultivation technique and absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. His temperament was also upright. But at this moment, Xiaochen was clearly full of demonic nature, and his eyes were filled with the gaze of a primordial beast. This was a gaze similar to the Yazi beasts. The demonic nature that Xiaochen's body gave off was also the result of his physical body and bloodline being modified by the immemorial demon soul formation. It was inevitable for Yanji to be surprised. Xiaochen smiled faintly. With this smile, all the demonic aura disappeared in an instant. The swastika on Xiaochen's forehead shone with a golden light. His entire body was bathed in a gentle Buddhist light. The light of the Mahasvara Buddha's Sarira that his physical body had absorbed slowly spread out. Becoming a Buddha with a smile was like a spring breeze. "Tell me, am I a Buddha or a demon?" Xiaochen looked at Yanji and said softly with a faint smile, "What a pure Buddhist light. How is this possible?" Yanji turned pale with fright. His expression changed drastically, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. The holy venerate experts on the other stone pillars, as well as the top true inheritors of the demonic sect, all opened their eyes, dumbfounded. He had never seen a person with two completely different temperaments. Furthermore, they were both extremely pure. Furthermore, they were two completely opposing Taos. You actually cultivate both Buddhism and demonic Tao. How audacious. Sooner or later you'll go crazy. Since ancient times, good and evil have always been incompatible. Those who dared to cultivate both Buddhism and demonic Tao never had a good ending. Since ancient times, there has never been an exception. Sooner or later, you will be doomed eternally. That's right, the righteous path cannot tolerate you, and the demonic path cannot tolerate you either. There won't be a place for you in this world, and your life will be filled with calamities. It was unknown which nerve of these people had been angered, but when they saw the demonic might on Xiaochen's body recede and the Buddha's aura appear, they were all shocked. The experts of the older generation started cursing loudly. Xiaochen laughed out loud. Amidst his presumptuous laughter, the Buddhist light on his body disappeared, and the Buddhist mark between his eyebrows quietly faded away. The saber intent all over Xiaochen's body turned into a move that soared into the clouds, clashing with the faux god might filling the sky. Buzz buzz buzz. The crisp hum of a saber resounded in all directions in an instant. That was a pure saber intent, unbridled and proud, free and unrestrained. Xiaochen laughed loudly and said, I am not an immortal or a demon, nor am I a Buddha. I am me, the white-robed Xiaochen. My original heart has not changed, and my original heart has not changed. I look at flowers with tears in my eyes, and the flowers cry. I look at the moon with worry, and the moon grieves. Gods, Buddhas, immortals, and demons are just superficial appearances. The heart has all sorts of appearances. Hence, all things in the world have all sorts of appearances. You see me killing people like flies, so you treat me as the white-robed mad demon. Others see me as pure and untainted, so they call me the white-robed bladesman. However, in the end I am me. What does what you think of me have to do with me? At this moment, Xiaochen did not have any demonic might or Buddhist light. There was only a pure saber intent, and the pride of following his original heart. Xiaochen's words stunned many of the people present. They vaguely felt touched in the depths of their hearts. The voices scolding and cursing Xiaochen stopped abruptly. None of them could say anything. After a long time, Yanjia startled awake. He looked at Xiaochen and asked, "What exactly are you trying to do? With your strength, there is no way for you to obtain the faux god flame. Why must you do this, offending all of us?" "That's right. If you are willing, this place is filled with soul tools. As long as you are willing to hand over the faux god flame, we will naturally work together to help you break the restrictions on the soul tools. There is no need to be so stubborn." The moment Yanjia said that, another holy venerate immediately agreed. At this moment, the silver fox holy venerate also said, "Junior, it was our fault for wanting to plant restrictions in your body earlier. We can also forgive you for killing our subordinates. As long as you are willing to hand over the faux god flame, we can fulfill another request." Immediately, all sorts of voices rang out. The various holy venerate experts all said that as long as Xiaochen was willing, they could let bygones be bygones. They could let bygones be bygones. If Xiaochen wanted a soul tool, they could even work together to help him break the restrictions. As Xiaochen looked at the flame on the divine flame pillar, which gave off a divine light, he remained silent. After a while he suddenly said, "The faux god flame belongs to those who are capable. You can fight for it, so why can't I? As the saying goes, if one's obsession is not dispelled, it will become a demonic barrier. However, if one does not forget it, there will be an echo. Senior Scarlet Blood Pirate King, am I right?" It seemed like Xiaochen did not hear the various promises and temptations from the surroundings. He only looked at the faux god flame and muttered to himself. However, as though it was responding to Xiaochen, the faux god flame suddenly dimmed somewhat. The scarlet blood war banner fluttering beside Xiaochen dropped its aura and slowly lowered. "That's not right." This is the faux god flame's response, telling Xiaochen that something is not right. After being stunned for a while, Xiaochen revealed a faint smile as he entered deep thought. At this moment, Xiaochen remembered his obsession, the moon seeking. After obtaining the faux god flame's response, he suddenly understood some things. There were many things in the world that the more one cared about, the tighter one grasped it. The more one cared about it, the more uncontrollable it was. In the past, Xiaochen always felt that he had to be as strong as the outstanding talents of the Great Thousand Realms before he could be worthy of meeting Ryue. Hence, Xiaochen's obsession did not disappear. He could not forget about the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's inheritance, treating it as something that he had to obtain if he wanted to meet Lu Ryue. The more Xiaochen cared about it, the deeper his heart demon became. Even after he obtained the faux god flame, his heart demon still remained. Even after obtaining the faux god flame, he would still feel doubtful, feeling that he was not strong enough and was not worthy of meeting Ryue. Furthermore, he would increase his strength like he was possessed. If that was really the case, Xiaochen might embark on a path of no return until he truly met Lu Ryue. Perhaps the other party would only see a familiar stranger and not him at all. In the end, it would be like water flowing from his hand. With such a blow, perhaps Xiaochen would end up like the Qing Emperor back then, falling into the demonic Tao, not recognizing his kin, killing his master, killing his lover. This fellow is smiling one moment and frowning the next. Has he turned stupid? That is really possible. It is hard to avoid accidents when dual cultivating Buddhism and demonic Tao. It would not be surprising for him to become a fool. Should we take this opportunity to directly suppress him? Right now he is distracted. It will be incredibly easy to subdue him. Just when everyone thought that Xiao Chun had gone crazy, Xiao Chun suddenly started laughing again. However, this time his laughter was filled with joy and relief. It was a kind of release, a kind of enlightenment after realizing the wrong path. As Xiao Chun laughed, he looked at the faux god flame. Then he used all his vital qi and shouted, "My name is Scarlet Blood. My body is scarlet iron and my blood is burning." His voice was like thunder, echoing in all directions. Everyone was stunned by this, and they were feeling anxious and bewildered. Just as they were feeling bewildered, an even more majestic, resonant, and sorrowful voice rang out in the vast space. This voice was filled with hot-bloodedness as it replied to Xiao Chun excitedly. "For half my life, I wandered from place to place, wandering from place to place. For half my life, I was unrivaled, moving about without fear." That voice entered one's blood, bones, and soul. The voice was filled with hot-bloodedness and iron bones. It reverberated in the surroundings, never fading. When Xiao Chun heard the echo, his eyes also filled with excitement. He replied with a voice that came from his flesh and soul. "My body is like a sword, filled with pride. My heart is like the sun and moon, shining brightly for 10,000 years." Loud laughter rang out in the reply. "My body is like a mountain, spanning 5,000 kilometers. My eyes are like the many stars, making the sky shine without night." Suddenly, surging demonic clouds gathered in the sky and turned into a gargantuan hand. The Scarlet Blood Pirate King traveled through time and space, and a heavy voice rang out, covering the sky with one hand. Boom. There was no light in the world, pitch black. One could not even see their own fingers when they stretched out their hands. The various holy venerates could not even send out their mental energy. They were completely blind, no different from ordinary people in the dark. However, the voice of covering the sky with one hand kept echoing in their ears. Xiao Chun's laughter stopped. He only grasped the Scarlet Blood War banner beside him, and replied to the words of the surroundings. He said, "Proclaim myself emperor with one hand." Then he raised his hand to the sky, and all the faux god might was drawn over, burning on Xiao Chun's body. In the boundless darkness, the faux god might became the only light in the world. Chapter 1824. However, at this crucial moment, a black figure suddenly appeared before Xiao Chun at lightning speed. It was not just a clump of flame, but also the inextinguishable will left behind by a legendary pirate king. The flame on Xiao Chun's body blazed even more intensely, and his faux god might soared. These holy venerates could not block one strike from Xiao Chun at all. Bang! Cracks appeared in the stone pillar under Xiao Chun's feet, trembling slightly. Xiao Chun's voice reverberated in the surroundings. A continuously strengthening faux god might appeared on his body. Xiao Chun soared into the air, and flew towards the stone pillar with the divine flame. Yinja flew back while vomiting blood. He roared ferociously and launched himself at Xiao Chun again, extremely dissatisfied. A careful look revealed that the first item was a spirit jade. However, this spirit jade flickered with light, looking crystalline and translucent, not tainted by any dirt at all. It looked like a precious star treasure. The entire space seemed to turn into a solid sea. Waves surged, forcing the many holy venerates back several steps. Attacked together. Comparisons were odious. After all, Xiao Chun was going to inherit the faux god flame before them. To the darkness, Xiao Chun was the spark that lit up the night, dazzling and resplendent. Yinja guffawed like a maniac. He shouted, "However, it is not too late to kill you now." Xiao Chun used his strongest appearance to climb the stone pillar with the divine flame that everyone dreamed of. However, Yinja could not do anything about it. On the stone pillar with the divine flame, Xiao Chun's faux god might had already reached a terrifying level. Then he moved his left hand and ferociously pointed at Senior Chai. With just one more step, Xiao Chun would be able to climb the pillar. Even if a sovereign personage descended, that sovereign personage could only watch helplessly like them. "Aha! You trash! You want to kill me?" Yinja could not move at all, losing control of his soul and physical body. He was at the mercy of others, unable to retaliate. Xiao Chen clenched his teeth and endured. Then, he ferociously swung the scarlet blood war banner in his hand against the immense pressure. Kasie. 8 treasures shining with light appeared in the surroundings. He wanted to extinguish the flame on Xiao Chen's body and suppress his foe god might. Grabbing the war flag, he twisted it lightly. Yanji's expression was extremely gloomy. When he saw that Xiao Chen was about to fly to the pillar of divine fire like a hot knife through butter, the rage in his heart immediately burned. Many figures flew over from the sky. There were the elders of the demonic sect, the captains of the 7 stars, and various itinerant cultivators. Supreme-grade spiritual jade. When Xiao Chen looked around, he saw many holy venerates lying on the stone pillars, unable to get up. These holy venerates showed hateful expressions as they looked at Xiao Chen. However, now Xiao Chen was burning with flames. The might of a foe god came from all directions like moths flying over. Its entire body was pitch black like ink, and its radiance was restrained. The banner that descended from the sky was embroidered with a primordial ferocious beast. It was the size of an ox, and its appearance was that of a tiger. It wore scarlet fur that was like a porcupine, and a pair of wings were spread open. A single horn grew out from between its brows, and its eyes were extremely vicious and filled with demonic nature. If looks could kill, Xiao Chen would have died more than 100 times already. The holy venerate were layered over each other, and turned into a horrifying demonic image that landed on Xiao Chen's head. There were the holy venerate wills of the 3 pirate group's captains, the holy venerate wills of the 3 demonic sect elders, Yanjia, Senior Chai, and the other itinerant cultivators. Xiao Chen continued looking. The second item was a pitch-black ghost pennant. This was an extremely high-quality soul tool. This was a cold light that prevented all of them from obtaining the foe god flame. The fourth item was an exquisite pipa. The fifth item was a secret manual. The sixth item was a mutated fruit. The seventh item was a treasure bow. The eighth item was actually a kasaya. The surging sword intent was like a vast army surging out, kicking up boundless yellow sand. It carried a cold killing intent, and turned into a boundless sword intent of storm. Light. The foe god might infused into Xiao Chen's body went from weak to strong, slowly strengthening. Ha 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 ha. Who is your big brother? You son of a bitch. This old man really regrets not smacking you to death back in the grave sea. Not only did he have to risk his life, he could be killed by the sword intent at any time. Xiao Chen sent the various holy venerates flying like sandbags, vomiting blood and tumbling in the air. Xiao Chen held up the scarlet blood war banner. Foe god might continuously poured into his surroundings, burning fiercely as it supported him. The war banner fluttered beside him. Xiao Chen gently waved his hand, and the foe god flame that many dreamed of appeared. The pressure from Yanji's holy venerate will gradually weakened. In the end, Xiao Chen actually repelled it. Xiao Chen gently opened his hand, and did not hesitate to put away the peak-grade spirit jades in his storage ring. How could Xiao Chen endure this? Senior Chai's expression changed slightly. However, before he could react, Quick! 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 Quickly stop him. Otherwise, no one will be able to stop him. Xiao Chen immediately felt immense pressure. This was the will of soul from a holy venerate. Compared to a star venerate's will of soul, Xiao Chen felt immense pressure. However, in the end all of this ended up benefiting Xiao Chen. However, this holy venerate will was nothing before Xiao Chen. Under normal circumstances, this holy venerate will alone would be enough to suppress Xiao Chen. Withdraw. Every time Xiao Chen withdrew it, he could hear the sound of his heart shattering. Xiao Chen only took a glance before putting this Qiongqi demonic pennant into his storage ring. Dang. The other holy venerates no longer dared to hold back. Immediately, this place started shaking intensely. The many holy venerates wished that they could swallow Xiao Chen alive. They thought about the soul tools here. Just thinking about the soul tools here. Even if many holy venerates worked together, they might not be able to break the restrictions. Yanji's boundless sword move was like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves with this thrust, easily breaking. Several holy venerates were so frustrated that they lost their minds. They clenched their right fists and continuously pounded the stone pillars. However, at this moment, Xiao Chen's aura flourished. He held the war banner in his hand and charged forward ferociously. When the Scarlet Blood War banner opened the treasures on the stone pillars with the divine flame, there were no restrictions. Who knew? Xiaochen gently leaped up and stomped on Yanji's head, continuing to fly towards the stone pillars with the divine flame. Whoosh! Xiaochen did not rush to summon the foe god flame. Instead, he sized up the surroundings. In that instant, the demonic clouds in the sky churned like a tsunami. Only this flash of light existed in the boundlessly dark and vast space. Boom! Big Brother Yin, you are still unwilling to give up. They were not on the same level at all. However, right now, Xiaochen's foe god might was flourishing. His strength was no longer on par with his cultivation. This sword wind could destroy a city. Yanjia thought about how much time and schemes Yanjia had put in for the sake of this scarlet blood race inheritance. Xiaochen held the war banner and leaped onto the stone pillars with the divine flame. Xiaochen said coldly as he looked expressionlessly at Yanjia, who had lost control of his emotions somewhat. Yanjia was on a completely higher level. It was like a sage appearing, reigning supreme. Xiaochen did not have time to take a closer look. He only sized it up before putting it in his storage ring. The sound of countless hearts shattering rang out. The eyes of the many older generation holy venerates and the top true inheritors of the various demonic Dao sects on the stone pillars in the surroundings nearly popped out. Kase. About 10 layers of holy venerate wills surged over, putting immense pressure on Xiaochen. Even the burning flame on his body was suppressed. Who could have imagined that an insignificant major primal core venerate would be able to stand before so many outstanding talents and older generation holy venerates? At this moment, the foe god flame was very close. The gargantuan hand covering the sky above dropped down a finger. In an instant, it knocked Senior Chai into the air and made him vomit blood. It slowly landed in Xiaochen's hand. However, at this moment, his eyes were calm. It was Senior Chai. He looked at Xiaochen sinisterly and said, "Junior, you need to use this Scarlet Blood War banner to release the foe god might on you. Now I am restraining your Scarlet Blood War banner. When the foe god might on you scatter, you will find it hard to escape death." The Scarlet Blood War banner moved like a hot knife through butter. Just as it was about to pierce Yanji's chest, a sword blocked it. "If you want to reach the deity platform, you have to get past me first." To the many holy venerates fighting for the foe god flame, the warm light was like a flash of cold light. At this distance, they could already feel the foe god flame's temperature, its heaviness, and the vicissitudes of history. Damn it! To think that he really went up. That feeling was too unbearable. You are overthinking. The stone pillars were empty. However, there was a groove in the center. However, now Xiaochen easily collected 8 supreme treasures in front of them. When Yanjia swung his sword, a cold light filled the air. Yanjia's terrifying sword technique turned into a storm surging toward Xiaochen. These were originally powerful treasures that belonged to them. Now this white-clad brat collected them just like that. Withdraw. Xiaochen looked at the Scarlet Blood War banner in his hand. Then he walked over and inserted the end of the war banner into the groove perfectly. "Break for me." Whoosh. Foe god might. A skinny hand grabbed the flagpole like a pincer. Yanjia roared hoarsely, and his aura surged out. A holy venerate will surged out of his forehead and pressed down on Xiaochen. Yanjia's aura slowed, and Xiaochen's flame, which was about to extinguish, took this opportunity to burn fiercely. Damn it! Damn it! Xiaochen continued looking. The third item was an extremely strange medicinal pill with an overwhelming bestial nature. It did not look like it was meant for cultivators to consume. Bang! 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 Xiaochen twisted his wrist and gently swung the Scarlet Blood War banner, striking Yanjia's face and sending him flying. With the support of the foe god might, Yanjia swung the war banner, and the entire space surged like the tide. As Yanjia advanced, the pillar of the divine flame became very close. Yanjia swung the war banner, and the Scarlet Blood War banner became like a spear as it charged forward. Foe god might gathered at the tip of the banner as he gently thrust it forward. Great Desolate Ian Ferocious Beast Qiongqi. This was once one of the 10 great ghost pennants of the demonic Dao, the Qiongqi demonic pennant. To think that it is in the hands of the Scarlet Blood Pirate King. Xiao Chen swung the Scarlet Blood War banner in his hand and ferociously thrust it forward. Kasie. Yanjia drew his sword, and a cold light shone. Then he leaped up and stood in front of Xiao Chen, blocking him. As long as Xiao Chen waved his hand, he could reach out and grab it. Xiao Chen recognized it with one glance. This was a powerful treasure known as a subdivine crystal. Its significance already surpassed that of spirit jades. Qiongqi wanted to stop Xiao Chen from climbing the pillar of the divine flame. Damn it! That is the supreme treasure of my demonic Dao sect. Chapter 1825. Xiao Chen held the faux god flame in his palm. He was only one step away from the Scarlet Blood inheritance. He did not even need to be one step away. With a thought, Xiao Chen could refine and absorb this faux god flame. He would obtain the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's valuable experience, the various mysterious sea maps, the treasures of the Forbidden Sea, and the various secrets of the 100,000 Great Peaks. When looking around, all the Dao tools and soul tools on the stone pillar were not worth mentioning compared to this faux god flame. They were not even a drop in the bucket, completely incomparable. Damn it! Why? When Yanjia saw this scene, he showed a dispirited expression. His eyes turned unfocused like a walking corpse. Yanjia had planned this for a long time, putting in a lot of effort and time, making all sorts of calculations from start to finish. However, in the end it was all for naught. The ending was too cruel. Yanjia, who harbored great expectations, could not take the blow. It was not just Yanjia. Although the other older generation holy venerates were not as exaggerated as Yanjia, they showed helplessness on their faces and deep jealousy in their eyes. Even if a holy venerate obtained the inheritance, they would accept their defeat wholeheartedly. However, right now, it was Xiao Chen, an ant that they could casually squish to death earlier, who climbed the divine flame pillar and controlled the faux god flame. It looked like Xiao Chen was about to receive the inheritance and soar into the sky, becoming resplendent and dazzling. Anyone would find it hard to accept that a junior was stepping on them to rise to prominence. While Xiao Chen was on the divine flame pillar, preparing to absorb the faux god flame and receive the inheritance, something strange happened. The faux god flame created a barrier, preventing Xiao Chen from absorbing it. At the same time, a thought entered Xiao Chen's mind. The thought first sighed, then turned into a sentence. What a pity! You are very suitable to receive my inheritance in all aspects. Unfortunately, you are only missing one thing, and that is the thing that I care about the most. Is that so? Xiao Chen was stunned for a moment before saying, I understand. However, senior, please give me a chance. There is someone in my heart who can receive this Scarlet Blood inheritance. Good. No matter how you look at it, you are very similar to me. I believe in you for being able to reach this step. However, you cannot receive the inheritance. Your faux god might will not last for long. I hope you can get out of here alive. After the voice projection ended, the faux god flame turned into a mark on Xiao Chen's palm. The flames on his body slowly extinguished, and the demonic clouds in the sky receded like a receding tide. Hua! The faux god might vanished from Xiao Chen's body. All the Dao tools and soul tools on the stone pillars flashed with lights and returned to the stone pillars. Only the spirit stones were still piled up on top of it as a consolation. What's going on? Everything had happened too suddenly, surprising everyone. All of the inherited Dao tools and soul tools had vanished. Those who thought that even if they could not obtain the faux god flame, they would still be able to subdue a soul tool. This was a worthwhile trip for the holy venerate. He was shocked. This was a complete loss, with nothing to gain. The white-robed mad demon accepted the inheritance. Yes, but no. The faux god flame is indeed gone. However, there are no changes to his body. The might of the faux god realm disappeared. Strange. How unlucky. To think that even the soul tools disappeared. This trip is a complete loss. Ha 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 ha. Just at this moment, someone suddenly laughed maniacally. It was the Iron Horn Pirate Group's Yanjia. Yanjia laughed like he had gone mad. Everyone looked at him strangely, not understanding what was going on. However, Yanjia continued laughing. He pointed at Xiao Chen and said, Ha ha ha. This fellow cannot accept the inheritance. He only put away the faux god flame. Look, he does not have dragon might or foe god might on him now. He is so weak that we can ignore him." The others' expressions changed drastically. They all sent their mental energy to Xiao Chun and revealed smiles. Haha, that's true. He did not accept the inheritance. His will of soul did not change at all. Kill him. Kill him. Upon seeing such a change and the foe god flame no longer on the stone pillar, the originally dispirited holy venerates immediately became spirited. As they looked at Xiao Chun, they were like hungry wolves seeing a sheep. Right now, Xiao Chun had many valuable treasures on him. He was definitely a fat sheep. Suddenly, the situation changed once again. Yanjia, who was like a walking corpse, immediately came to life. His eyes shone brightly like a wild beast's. Whoosh! Yanjia took the lead and charged at Xiao Chun, wanting to capture Xiao Chun first to vent the hatred in his heart. On the stone pillar with the divine flame, Xiao Chun's expression remained calm. He did not feel discouraged by losing the inheritance at all. Before climbing the stone pillar with the divine flame, Xiao Chun had proven his Tao heart. In his opinion, that was something even more precious than the inheritance. Of course, it would be for the best if he could continue obtaining the inheritance. However, if he could not, it did not matter. Proving his Tao heart and walking out of the demonic heart were more valuable than anything else. You are really my good big brother. As Xiao Chun looked at Yanjia, who took the lead and rushed to the front, a mocking smile appeared on his face. Xiao Chun grasped the scarlet blood war banner with both hands. With a thought, a black and white taiji diagram appeared around him. Mottled light flickered in the surroundings. All sorts of mysterious phenomena appeared continuously. The taiji diagram spun continuously. The vast demonic chi veritable essence energy and spiritual energy veritable essence energy in Xiao Chun's 9-star primal core circulated wildly. Xiao Chun's aura soared endlessly. He is going to break through. As Xiao Chun's long hair fluttered and his aura soared infinitely, those with discerning eyes immediately saw some clues. That was right. After absorbing the demonic chi accumulated on Blood Spirit Island for 1,000 years, Xiao Chun could break through at any time. Xiao Chun's cultivation had already accumulated to a terrifying level in the major primal core realm. His foundation was terrifyingly firm. Once Xiao Chun broke through, he would completely erupt. Boom! In that instant, Xiao Chun's aura soared several-fold, instantly breaking through the shackles of major primal core venerates. He became a Cloud Sea Star Venerate. However, Xiao Chun's aura continued to soar, directly advancing to peak early-stage Star Venerate. However, Xiao Chun's aura was much stronger than those late-stage Star Venerate true inheritors. Scram! When Xiao Chun's aura reached its peak, he ferociously swung the Scarlet Blood War banner. Boom! Boom! Before Xiao Chun waved the war banner, he infused it with an irresistible veritable essence energy that was like seawater. Xiao Chun, who had not expected such a result, was ruthlessly knocked back by Xiao Chun again, causing him to vomit blood. Ahaha! So what if you broke through? There are so many holy venerates here. In the end, you will not be able to escape death. Xiao Chun, you will not be able to escape death. Although Xiao Chun forcefully knocked Yanjia away, Yanjia laughed endlessly as he looked at Xiao Chun like he had gone crazy. Yanjia was right. The difference in cultivation was obvious. Even if Xiao Chun could bring out 120% of his strength, he would only be able to block one holy venerate. However, there were 10 holy venerates here. Aside from Yanjia, who had a weak foundation, the other holy venerates were either demonic Tao sect elders or 7-star pirate group captains. No matter how one looked at it, Xiao Chun could not succeed in breaking through. Where there is a will, there is a way. There is no need for you to care about my life or death. Thank you for your curse. However, Xiao Chun saw through everything. His body trembled, and he suddenly turned into a 3-kilometer-tall giant. Xiao Chun instantly executed Dermic World. Using the undefeatable aura of his Dermic World, Xiao Chun swung the war banner. A huge force directly swept away the many holy venerates that were trying to surround him. Xiao Chun raised his leg and leaped over 100 stone pillars. Then, he charged out of the encirclement of the holy venerates and rushed forward. After him, the holy venerates that got knocked away did not suffer much damage. They knew that this was a secret technique that Xiao Chen used and could not last for long. These holy venerates used their holy venerate wills to resist the omnipresent foe god might in the sky. Then they moved quickly, chasing after Xiao Chen. As the holy venerates gave chase, they executed all sorts of attacks without holding back. Naturally, the means of a holy venerate were extremely horrifying. Even though Xiao Chen turned into a dermic world giant, he still found it hard to avoid injury. Pussy. When Xiao Chen's body reverted to its original form, he vomited a mouthful of blood and fell to one knee. Xiao Chen's complexion paled slightly. This was somewhat taxing. Holy venerates were scarier than Xiao Chen imagined. If there were only 2 or 3 holy venerates, it would be very easy to escape. However, there were simply too many holy venerates behind. There were also some strong top true inheritors that were not to be trifled with. Brat, let's see what other means you have. When the people chasing saw Xiao Chen fall to the ground in a somewhat sorry state, they all laughed loudly, feeling much more confident. Capture him. We must cut him into 1,000 pieces, extract his soul, and torture him ruthlessly. After killing so many people from our 3 great demonic Dao sects, we cannot let him die so easily. Ha ha ha. To think that you would have such a day like this. I can only say that you are unlucky, unable to receive such great luck. When the many holy venerates saw Xiao Chen fall into dire straits, all of them felt extremely delighted. This was especially so for Yanjia. He felt his entire body rejuvenated. Seeing Xiao Chen in such a sorry state was even more delightful than obtaining the foe god Flame himself. Relying on this sickly willpower, Yanjia charged to the very front once more. Who dares to injure my big brother? Just at this moment, a loud shout suddenly rang out. This voice was like divine thunder from the 9 heavens, shaking all the gods and Buddhas in the sky. The tens of thousands of stone pillars in this vast space trembled intensely when this shout rang out. Even the might of the foe god realm trembled, surging like waves. The many holy venerates in hot pursuit immediately stopped in their tracks, forcibly stopped by this shout. When they looked up, there was a piercing silver light in the distance. It was so resplendent and dazzling that no one dared to look directly at it. That was Dao Might, the pure saber Dao's Dao Might. It was much stronger than the Dao Might on Xiao Chen's body. Amid the silver light, that person ferociously pointed his saber forward. A boundless saber move turned into a strong wind that filled the air, instantly surging over. It was like an army of thousands of horses, or like a huge wave in the ocean, surging over. However, with a flash of silver light, that person spread his arms and flew over like a Kuan Peng. In the blink of an eye, that person arrived at the very front of this saber move. His body was like the sharpest saber in the world. He sliced through the foe god might in the air like it was a piece of cloth, instantly arriving, acting all mysterious. No one can save him today. Yanjia, who had already charged to the very front, snorted coldly. He did not stop moving, continuing to fly towards the stone pillar, where Xiao Chen was. You are seeking death. A silver light flashed, and that terrifying saber move vanished together with the silver light. When the silver light reappeared, that person appeared above Yanjia's head. The saber move that filled the air suddenly erupted. The saber light landed, and Yanjia was instantly chopped in half. His head separated from his body, no longer showing any signs of life. Dang. After the saber cut Yanjia's body, it landed on the surface of the stone pillar. The stone pillar's surface cracked into pieces, and cracks appeared. As Xiao Chen looked at that person, his eyes filled with heavy surprise. He nearly could not help cursing. He simply could not believe what he saw. Chapter 1826. The person who had just arrived was dressed in monk robes. He had thick eyebrows, large eyes, and an eye-catching bald head. Who else could it be but the little monk Yan Chun? Xiao Chen had always heard the little monk say that he was an expert, a very powerful expert. A middle-stage star venerate did not interest him at all. Even his own saber skills were only a little interesting in his eyes, and he still needed his guidance. He didn't believe it. He didn't believe it at all. However, the earlier scene flabbergasted everyone. Yanjia, who had just advanced to Holy Venerate, could not even catch a single saber strike from Xiao Chen. Even though Yanjia had already suffered a series of blows from Lin Fan previously, and had sustained injuries that were neither heavy nor light. However, no matter what, he was still a holy venerate. Silver light flickered. Just like that, he was cleaved into two halves, his life force gone and his soul scattered. The three great devil sect elders, the three great pirate captains, the many rogue cultivators, and the chief true disciples of the devil sect were all frightened. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Was he still a monk? He had delicate features, but how could he be so ruthless and heartless? He did not have the slightest scruple of the Buddhist precepts. He killed as soon as he said he would, not showing any mercy at all. He was not afraid of violating the precept of killing. Little monk, you are an eminent monk of the Buddhist sect. How can you collude with this white-clothed mad demon? He is a great villain who has fallen into the demonic path. The Fantasy Cloud sect's elder Gao said shamelessly. He seemed to have forgotten that he himself was a great demon. The refinement of the Fantasy Cloud sect's ghost penance was utterly devoid of conscience and inhumane. But now, with righteous words, he was pointing at Xiao Chun and calling him a demon. It had to be said that the little monk Yen Chen's strength truly frightened them to the point that they even used such an excuse. Yen Chen could not be bothered to say anything more. He pointed with his saber and said sullenly, I don't care about so much. I'll kill whoever kills my big brother. It's not up to you people to tell me who the saber in my hand will be with. His words had completely blocked the path of peace talks. Humph. Do you really think you can kill all of us by yourself? Yanjia was just careless. Everyone attack together and kill this bald donkey. Even though the strength that the little monk displayed was frightening, Xiao Chun simply had too many precious treasures on him. Be it the faux god flame or the 8 divine platform treasures, they were worth risking their lives for the little monk. Moreover, they had the advantage of numbers, so they would always have a mental advantage. Yen Chen smiled faintly. His smile was like that of a Buddha, appearing benevolent, like the reincarnation of a living Buddha. Every action and every expression contained a supreme Buddhist intent. The dense Buddhist might turned into a pure silver light that shone in all directions. This light is really special. It's rare to hear that the Buddha's might can emit a silver light. Xiao Chun took the opportunity to get up. When he saw this scene, he was secretly surprised. There seemed to be some records of the silver Buddhist light in the incomplete memories of the underground dragon city's faux god flame. Unfortunately, this was not the time to reminisce. Taking advantage of the little monk's appearance, Xiao Chun sat down cross-legged and quickly healed his injuries, recovering his strength. Gotcha. However, just as he sat down cross-legged, he heard a blood-curdling scream. A silver light flashed, and the Buddhist might and horrifying saber intent on the little monk vanished without a trace. When Yen Chen reappeared in the next moment, he landed before a top true inheritor. That top true inheritor was the Fantasy Cloud sect's Long Tingyu. Yen Chen's cultivation was similar to Long Tingyu's, similar to his. However, when Yen Chen faced Long Tingyu, he broke the ghost pennant in his hand with just one move. The saber intent did not stop there. That silver monk's saber continued descending, directly blasting Long Tingyu's physical body into a pool of blood. Not even a corpse remained. Whoosh! After killing one person, Yen Chen landed on a stone pillar. Then he looked at the holy venerates with stunned expressions and smiled faintly. It will be difficult for you all to catch me. Right after Yen Chen spoke, he spread his arms again. Then he moved like an eagle, and a silver light flashed as he instantly streaked across the sky. The group of people charging at Yen Chen missed. Their expressions changed drastically as they quickly looked in another direction. Whoosh! 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 It was like a game of hide-and-seek. After repeating this a few times, the many holy venerates could not surround Yen Chen. I'm coming! Yen Chen laughed loudly, and suddenly appeared before the somewhat fatigued top true inheritor of the Blood Demon Royal Hall. Without even thinking, he swung his saber. This saber strike gave off a resplendent silver light. The little monk revealed a strange smile. It was like he had lived in the mortal realm for hundreds or even thousands of years. He had seen all sorts of life, seen all sorts of prosperity, only loneliness and vicissitudes remained. Yen Chen's saber light immediately turned incredibly heavy. It was like he had traveled through time and space, experiencing the baptism of thousands of years. Bang! The top true inheritor of the Blood Demon Royal Hall, who met this saber strike, immediately turned to ashes, turning into dust. Mahamaya Abstinence Violation Saber Technique. A bright light flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. He immediately recognized the saber technique that the little monk used. It was the Mahamaya Abstinence Violation Saber Technique, which was forbidden by the Buddhist sections. It should be an incomplete manual. Like Xiao Chen, the little monk practiced only a few moves. However, no matter how strong the Mahamaya Abstinence Violation Saber Technique was, it could not be compared to an ordinary killing move. With the little monk's strength, Xiao Chen had no choice but to admit that there were indeed people in this world who could bring out their strength many times over. Regular cultivators who could bring out 80% of their combat prowess would be considered pretty good. If one could bring out 100%, one could be called a genius. If one could bring out 120%, one could be called a demonic genius. People like Xiao Chen, who could bring out 150% of their peak state, could be counted on one's fingers. They were as rare as phoenix feathers and qilin horns. As for people like the little monk, one could only look for them in ancient records. To think that a late-stage star venerate cultivator could easily deal with 9 holy venerates surrounding him, killing 3 with a wave of his hand. This simply did not make sense. Good timing. Just at this moment, a cold snort rang out. The little monk's figure flickered again, and he appeared before the strongest holy venerate, Senior Chai. Senior Chai did not show any fear. He gently threw a palm strike with his skinny, bone-like hand. Rumble. The sky shook and the ground shook. The nearby stone pillars trembled. This old fellow had lived for who knew how long. As Senior Chai waved his hand, the force he drove was incredibly horrifying. Bang! The little monk vomited a mouthful of blood and went flying back. This was the first time everyone saw him in such a sorry state. Haha! Senior Chai is incredible. With Senior Chai around, there is nothing to worry about. After seeing Senior Chai's strong strength, the other holy venerate's confidence soared. You are a person who is about to die. Let's see how many more times you can send out such strong energy. Yan Chen wiped off the blood at the corner of his lips. However, he was not convinced at all. A silver light flashed, and he sent out another saber strike. Everyone was somewhat shocked to discover that before Yan Chen's strange movement technique, it was simply impossible to surround and attack him. They could only watch as Yan Chen fought with Senior Chai alone. Yan Chen received each move more effortlessly than the one before. It was clear that Senior Chai was growing increasingly weaker. His lethargy grew heavier. He was too old. If it were 10 years ago, Senior Chai might not care about Yan Chen at all. However, now Yan Chen's lifespan was approaching its end. Under such a head-on clash, Senior Chai felt his lifespan dwindle pitifully. His lifespan dwindled rapidly, like a lamp running out of oil at any moment. In the mortal realm, an ancient smile appeared on the little monk Yan Chen's face again. The silver saber light that the Buddhist monk's saber gave off instantly turned heavy. All sorts of mysterious phenomena of the mortal realm appeared continuously, layering over each other. With each layer, it looked like a growth ring was carved on the silver saber light. Boom. After Senior Chai's frail body received this saber strike, his lifespan drained. He was like a lamp running out of oil. His body withered like an old tree, falling into the deep abyss like a lead stone. I remember now. Just at this moment, the expression of a demonic Tao sect elder changed dramatically. The finger he pointed at the little monk could not stop trembling. The little monk's eyes filled with horror. At first he was stunned. Then he turned somewhat flustered. The Buddhist sect's silver saber, the heavenly eagle demonic monk. Kasie. Right after the little monk spoke, Yan Chen's berserk saber strike struck him, severely injuring him on the spot. As Yan Chen held the Buddhist monk's saber, he could not help feeling regret. Damn it. I was still too late. Quickly leave. Quickly leave. He is the little demonic monk's silver saber. He has an innate body of misfortune, and holds the Buddhist sect's Buddhist monk's saber. He is not restrained by the abstinence from killing, and is the nemesis of the demonic Tao sections. Even if he commits overwhelming sins, he can become a Buddha immediately. After the other holy venerates recognized the little monk Yen Chun, they stopped pestering him and scattered. The little demonic monk Silver Saber? When Xiao Chun, who was recuperating, heard this title, he held back a smile. A corner of his lips twitched involuntarily. This title was indeed tyrannical. No wonder the little monk immediately jumped to it every time the title was mentioned. Chapter 1827. After recognizing the little monk Yen Chen's origins, those demonic Dao sect elders did not think anything else and immediately scattered. It looked like they steeled their hearts and did not want to fight with this person. Given the little monk's movement technique and his horrifying saber Dao cultivation, they could not surround him. The holy venerate will, the only thing that could win, was mostly neutralized by the little monk's Buddhist might. They felt like they could not attack. Not only did numbers not have a positive effect, but they even hindered each other, resulting in a negative effect. Right now, these demonic Dao sect elders already gave up on the idea of monopolizing the treasures on Xiao Chun. They only hoped that their sovereign personages would arrive. Only with the overwhelming strength of a sovereign personage could they easily suppress this little monk. It turns out that there is no one who can fight. Yen Chen's lips curled up as he revealed a smile. Then he turned around and leaped toward Xiao Chun. Furthermore, Yen Chen had delicate features and wore monk robes. His charming eyes had not matured yet, making him look young. Such a little monk was known as the little demonic monk Silver Saber. Ha ha ha. Big brother Xiao, I told you before. I came as an expert. A monk does not lie. Yen Chen held his Buddhist monk's saber and leaped over many stone pillars. The remnant Buddhist might from his body had yet to scatter as he landed heavily. Xiao Chun smiled bitterly, not knowing how to answer. Boom. Suddenly, something strange happened. The moment the little monk landed, the stone pillar under him crumbled, sending him plummeting into the deep abyss. Big brother, save me. All this happened in an instant. Xiao Chun and Yen Chen could not react in time. Anyone, including a holy venerate, would die without a doubt once they fell. The gravity of the deep abyss was not something that ordinary people could endure. Then Xiao Chun thought about the many experts who fell and died without exception. His expression changed dramatically. He quickly leaped up and went to the edge to take a look. Xiao Chun saw the little monk grabbing the hole in the stone pillar with one hand. Occasionally, shattered rocks fell by his side, but there was no sound for a long time. The little monk tried to exert force several times to leap up. However, it felt like there were many mountains on his back. He could not get up at all. Seeing Xiao Chun stretch out his head, the little monk said hurriedly, "Quick, quick, quick! Give me a hand. I can't hold on for much longer. This place is too strange. After the stone pillar fell, I can't use my strength at all." In the darkness, the little monk's bald head was particularly eye-catching. Just a minute later, the little monk was already in such a sorry state. It was indeed true that he was born with the body of misfortune. Xiao Chun laughed involuntarily. He stretched out his hand and said, "Come on up. He's here." Damn! Who knew that when the little monk stretched out his hand, Xiao Chun would feel a huge suction force. It was so fast that he couldn't react at all. His entire body was pulled down by Yen Chen. Boom! In the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint, Xiao Chun reached out and grabbed the gap in the stone pillar. His other hand was firmly grasped by the little monk. He felt as if his entire arm was about to be torn apart by the suction force of the little monk. Xiao Chun finally understood what Yen Chen had just said. After falling off the stone pillar, Zhang Xian found himself in a completely different world. Under the pull of gravity, he could not bring out his strength at all. He could not even circulate his veritable essence energy normally. He could only rely on his vital qi to hold on bitterly. Normally, if Xiao Chun were alone, he would be able to get up by circulating all his vital qi. However, now that he had to drag the little monk, he felt somewhat powerless. "Big brother, don't ever let go," the little monk said with a bitter expression as he grabbed Xiao Chun's arm. Xiao Chun wanted to get angry. However, when he looked at the little monk's face and thought about the title that scared everyone away, he got so angry that he laughed. If I have to die, so be it. In any case, if the little monk did not come, I would not be able to escape death. However, Xiaochen clearly could have escaped already. If he did this again, he would feel dissatisfied. No wonder those people wanted to run. Who would not be afraid of such misfortune? Not only would their opponents be afraid, but even their friends would be afraid. Don't worry. I won't let go. I'll just hang on like this. When I run out of strength, we can just fall down together. Xiaochen smiled helplessly. Feeling depressed, Yanchen said, "Why am I so unlucky? Even holy venerates have to retreat when they see me." "Why?" Xiaochen smiled and said, "Stop complaining. Think of a way." Complaining was never the way to solve problems. Faced with adversity, Xiaochen was startled for a moment. Then he calmly thought of all sorts of ways to escape. Xiaochen continuously analyzed the situation before him, trying to figure out how it happened. Even when Xiaochen leaped from stone pillar to pillar, he did not feel such a terrifying gravity. Why did it feel like he was in a completely different world when he landed on the stone pillar? After thinking about it, there was only one possibility. The many stone pillars in the vast space might have formed an invisible barrier. The height of the stone pillar was the threshold. Once one jumped over the stone pillar, they would no longer be affected by the barrier. Aside from the pressure of the faux god might, one would also be affected by the gravity of this place. "Big brother, I feel that this might not be gravity. It is heart force." I once heard Master say that before the Kasyapa Buddha became a Buddha, he cultivated heart force. Heart force is boundlessly ethereal, extremely profound. Ordinary people cannot comprehend it. Xiaochen felt doubtful as he asked, "Heart force?" Actually, Xiaochen had already noticed it long ago. No matter how horrifying a normal gravity was, it would not affect a person's veritable essence energy. It would not be to the extent where one's abilities could not be brought out. Furthermore, this place happened to be the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's heart. It was possible that it was heart force. However, what exactly was heart force? Xiaochen had never heard of it before. "Is there a way to break it?" "No." The little monk answered straightforwardly. Xiaochen was speechless. After speaking for so long, it turned out that it was all nonsense. "This won't do. My arm is about to break. The suction from the little monk is getting stronger. If I persist, my arm will be torn off sooner or later. At that time, although I can save myself by severing my arm, the little monk will definitely die." Given Xiaochen's physical body, cultivation, and resources, reattaching an arm would not be a big deal. Severing an arm to save himself was indeed a pretty good way to escape. "Big brother, I think I should let go. It's better for one to die than for both of us to die." The little monk could feel the state of Xiaochen's body. At this moment, he was more open to it. However, he felt somewhat guilty. In the end, it was the little monk who implicated Big Brother Xiao. "There's no need." Xiaochen directly let go, and the little monk let out a startled cry. Then, the two of them plummeted. They were like shot put. A strong wind blew as they fell faster and faster. Those who fell to their deaths did so because their physical bodies were not strong enough. They directly smashed into meat paste. With his physical body, perhaps he could give it a try and take a gamble. All the bones in Xiaochen's body had already become inferior grade dragon bones. His meridians had already turned into dragon tendons. In a situation where Xiaochen could not circulate his veritable essence energy, his vital qi could surge through his dragon tendons. Xiaochen immediately brought out his divine dragon war body, and a heavy dragon might spread out on his physical body. It formed an invisible divine dragon artifact armor that protected his body. After spinning around twice, Xiaochen accelerated his descent. Then he placed the little monk on his back. The sound of the wind grew louder by his ears. The wind was already like a knife cutting his body, causing him to grimace in pain. Unfortunately, even moving his mouth was very difficult now. Bang! After some time, Xiaochen landed on the ground. The huge rebound flung the little monk away. Pussy. Blood leaked out of a corner of Xiaochen's lips. His internal organs shattered on the spot. A mouthful of blood containing some of his shattered liver fell to the ground. Cracks appeared all over Xiaochen's body, spreading continuously in his bones. Just as the cracks were about to multiply, The bones all over Zhang Xian's body came to a stop, just a hair's breadth away from crumbling. The cracks stopped spreading. That's good. Xiao Chen heaved a long sigh of relief. He had already landed. His bones had not shattered. This was truly a blessing in the misfortune. As long as Xiao Chen rested for a while, the self-healing ability of the blue dragon bloodline in his bone marrow would take effect. The self-healing ability of the dragon race bloodline would allow him to recover very quickly. Even if his internal organs were shattered and his mind was shaken, recovering was just a matter of time. Ha ha. Big brother, I'm fine. To think that I'm completely fine. Only my chest feels a little stuffy. I'm completely fine. Before Xiao Chen could say anything, he saw the little monk, Yan Chen, rush over excitedly after escaping death. Xiao Chen immediately paled in fright. He hurriedly said, Don't come near me. Pa. However, before Xiao Chen finished speaking, the incredibly excited little monk placed his hand heavily on Xiao Chen's shoulder. Crack, crack. Xiao Chen's bones, which were originally on the verge of shattering, shattered with the little monk's strike. All the bones in Xiao Chen's body shattered, and his dragon bones were damaged. Xiao Chen vomited a mouthful of blood and fainted from the pain, losing consciousness. Before Xiao Chen blacked out, he thought of only one sentence. I'm so unlucky. Unlucky can really kill. Chapter 1828. When Xiao Chen opened his eyes again, 4 hours had already passed. Big brother, you're finally awake. When Yan Chen saw Xiao Chen open his eyes weakly, he revealed a joyful smile. He said, You have no idea how dangerous it was earlier. The sovereign personages of the 3 great demonic Dao sects are all here. Fortunately, they did not sense our presence. This made sense. Many holy venerates chose to leave because their sect's sovereign personages were about to charge over. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and said, It looks like I have to thank you. Otherwise, we would not have been able to survive in the hands of a sovereign personage. Yan Chen smiled awkwardly and said, There's no need to thank me. The merits and demerits offset each other. Big brother Xiao, don't blame me for patting your shoulder earlier. Don't mention it, or I'll beat you up. Xiao Chen was just about to move his body, but he didn't expect that he would move his whole body. He was in so much pain that he sucked in a deep breath. His bones were all broken and he couldn't move at all. Now he was lying on the stone pillar. He could only open his eyes and close his mouth to speak. Yan Chen hurriedly said, Big brother, be careful. I just took a look. Your injuries are rather severe. Your bones seem to have been refined into dragon bones, making it harder for them to recover than ordinary people. What was more serious was that his 5 viscera and 6 bowels were shattered, and his blood and qi were weak. If not for his brother's extraordinary physique, he would have died long ago. Speaking of which, why am I completely fine? Really? Yan Chen rambled on endlessly. However, he did not notice that when he looked up, he happened to meet Xiao Chen's murderous gaze. He quickly smiled apologetically and said, It's my fault. It's my fault. If I don't blame you, who should I blame? If it weren't for your slap, the dragon bone wouldn't have been damaged. After a while, he would be able to recover. After recovery, the blue dragon bloodline could be produced in his bone marrow, and his internal organs would slowly recover. Everything was not a big problem. And he still had the cheek to say that he was fine? If I didn't carry you on my back, how could I be fine? Xiao Chen had never been so unlucky before. He was so injured that he couldn't even move. He couldn't even take out the healing pills from his storage ring. If this continued, his injuries would continue to worsen, forming a vicious cycle. He might really have to give up his life here. When it came to life and death, Xiao Chen had always been very open-minded. Anyone would find it hard to accept such an outcome. It could only be said that life and death were up to fate, and riches and honor were up to the heavens. Xiao Chen sighed softly, expelling all the grievances in his heart. Big brother, why are you sighing? Yan Chen asked, finding it strange. He still could not make out Xiao Chen's current state. Xiao Chen leaned against the stone pillar and smiled casually. Let's not talk about this. Speaking of which, why did you come back? Didn't I chase you away back then? Chen scratched his head and said, "At that time, I felt that something was off. I felt that Big Brother's tone was somewhat off. When I returned, I happened to hear your conversation with that person. Only then did I realize that you let me go on purpose." "I see." Chen suddenly understood. That was good too. He didn't have to explain himself. Yinja was too difficult to deal with. With the little monk's intelligence, he might be tricked into becoming Yenja's fighter. However, it was hard to say if Yenja could bear the little monk's luck. Thinking about himself, Chen felt helpless. The two chatted casually. Trapped in this place, they could not do anything else. As they chatted, Chen understood many things. Why did the inheritance demonic mirror take the initiative to fly to the little monk back then? It was because the little monk had many sins on him. The number of people he had killed was even greater than Chen's. That was why the demonic mirror took the initiative to fly to the little monk's hand. Normally speaking, those with such horrifying sins were either major figures of the demonic Tao or ferocious demonic beasts. Yet, the little monk lived like that without a care in the world. This was truly an anomaly. The little monk was indeed very strong. However, the price for his extraordinary strength was enormous. Bad luck accompanied him for life. It was as his master had said. The little monk was born with great luck. Or rather, it could be said that he used up all the good luck in his life. The senior and junior brothers in the temple all knew about the little monk's matters. They were definitely unwilling to interact with him. Wherever he went, he would get into trouble for no reason, inevitably blaming himself. If it were an ordinary person like the little monk, they would definitely be extremely reclusive. It would be easy for them to become extreme existences and end up in tragedy. Fortunately, the little monk had a very good master. His master kept smiling and telling Chen that he was the Buddhist sect's fortune. Furthermore, his mental state was rather open and optimistic, allowing him to live until now without a care in the world. After chatting for a long time, a medicinal pill appeared in Chen's palm with a thought. Then he got the little monk to feed it to him. Without a high-grade medicinal pill, the injuries on his body would not be able to heal at all. Chen could only barely alleviate some of the pain. The crucial thing was how to heal the dragon bones. Only then could he treat the root of the problem. Otherwise, he would never recover. "Oh right, I have something for you." Chen recalled that among the 8 supreme treasures, there was a soul tool, a kasaya. The little monk received it joyfully. Then he exclaimed in shock, "This is a soul tool. However, I can't use it. My cultivation is not high enough to wear a kasaya." "Can't use it? That's good. I can save some money. After all, it is a soul tool. If I exchange it, I can obtain many things." Hee. "However, my master can use it." "Thank you, Big Brother Xiao." The little monk quickly put away the kasaya, not standing on ceremony. Chen smiled embarrassedly and said, "That's fine. Let me ask you one more thing. Was the saber technique you used earlier the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique?" "That's right. Big Brother Xiao, how did you know?" Indeed, the one in the little monk's hand should be an incomplete one. However, if Chen exchanged it with the little monk, he wondered if he would violate the Buddhist sect's rules. "Truth be told, I also have an incomplete manual and practiced 3 of the moves." Chen answered honestly. When the little monk heard that, he rejoiced. "Indeed, the Heavenly Book scholar said that I would definitely run into a great fortuitous encounter in this ash-gray sea's myriad star mountain." It turns out that it was true. "Big Brother Xiao, are you willing to exchange the incomplete manual with me?" Chen was still feeling awkward, wondering how he should bring it up. Who knew? The little monk did not mind at all. "Speaking of which, aren't you violating the Buddhist sect's rules by being so direct?" The little monk smiled and said, "I've broken too many precepts. I can't be bothered to count. Now that I think about it, aside from lust, I've broken almost all of them." Chen said softly, "That's good. I have the same thought as well. However, we will discuss this after I recover from my injuries." At the mention of his injuries, Chen could not help feeling helpless. All the bones in his body were shattered. He could not move at all, like he was paralyzed. The little monk was right. If not for Chen's extraordinary physique, he would already be a dead man. Xiaochen could not think of a good way to recover at the moment. If he were outside, he could seek treatment from a famous doctor. With corresponding medicinal pills, he would be able to recover after lying in bed for half a year, or even a year. However, he clearly did not have such conditions here. Actually, Xiaochen should rejoice. Even holy venerates died when they fell. He was already very fortunate to be alive. You are really stupid. This is the best place to treat your injuries. What are you thinking about? Just at this moment, a voice suddenly rang out in Xiaochen's mind, making him feel joy. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor. You are finally willing to show yourself. Xiaochen had said long ago that the next time they met would be the day he broke through to Star Venerate. After breaking through to Star Venerate for so long, Xiaochen had nearly died several times. I also want to show myself. However, do you think that I will not exhaust your life force if I show myself? I am a remnant soul attached to you, relying on you to exist. In your current state, I really do not dare to casually appear. In the past, you were at your peak. Exhausting a little is nothing. Now, if I casually exhaust a little, you might fall on the spot. Xiaochen had not thought of this. He said softly, let's get back to business. Why is this place the best place to treat injuries? Haha. This place is filled with heart force. To think that you managed to find this place with the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's physical body. This is really surprising. Heart force. It's heart force again. I'll teach you a method to use the heart force of this place to stimulate the damaged dragon bones in your body. When your physical body recovers, I'll explain to you what heart force is. Chapter 1829. Xiaochen opened his eyes and glanced at Yan Chun, who was beside him. Little monk, go and take a look around. There might be some fortuitous encounters in this place. Fortuitous encounter? That makes sense. This place is filled with heart force. Perhaps we can find the secret to comprehending heart force. Yan Chun thought for a while and nodded. Then he said, in any case, there is nothing else. Even if there is no fortuitous encounter, it is good to see if there is an exit. In that case, big brother, stay here first. After Yan Chun went far away, the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's playful laughter rang out in Xiaochen's heart. Must I wait for this monk to go far away before I can start? The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor disdained the so-called body of misfortune. However, Xiaochen could not be more cautious. Unable to explain too much, Xiaochen changed the topic. Let's begin. You can tell me the method now. After a while, a profound incantation appeared in Xiaochen's mind. This was the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor telling him how to use the heart force in this place to treat his injuries. The incantation looked incredibly profound. However, after comprehending it, Xiaochen discovered that the principle was incredibly simple. It was like absorbing the spiritual energy of the world. However, spiritual energy needed to be absorbed by the dantian into the body. The absorption of heart force depended on the heart. While it sounded very profound, the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor used an extremely simple method. This was because his method was not truly absorbing heart force. It was just absorbing heart force into the body to treat Xiaochen's injuries. It was not truly possessing and controlling heart force. Xiaochen's current cultivation and comprehension ability were far from sufficient to grasp heart force. Even if it were sufficient, it was not something that could be comprehended in a short time. By the time Xiaochen comprehended it, his injuries would have already worsened, and he would no longer show any signs of life. Hence, the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's method was very special and ingenious. Following the blood-soaked Dragon Emperor's instructions, Xiaochen continuously emptied his mind. As Xiaochen recited the incantation, his thoughts drifted. The soul in his soul pool swayed like a candle flame on the verge of being extinguished at any moment. Slowly, Xiaochen entered a wondrous state. He was on the verge of sleep, but did not have any thoughts. His consciousness drifted like a dead person. However, he could truly feel his thoughts. Xiao. Suddenly, the souls in his soul pool went out like candlelight. The entire soul pool turned pitch black. The blood-soaked Dragon Emperor, who was hidden in the 9-star primal core, formed a profound hand seal. Xiao Chen's limp body floated up like a sponge in water. The originally formless heart force in the world transformed into thin halos of light that surrounded the surroundings. As the blood-soaked dragon emperor continuously formed hand seals, the invisible light continuously poured into Xiao Chen's body and then flowed out. It was like clean water washing away dirt. However, at this moment, it was using the most mysterious force in the world to help Xiao Chen clean the wounds in his body. Under the influence of the heart force, Xiao Chen's shattered dragon bones slowly fused back together. The blood-soaked dragon emperor gently blew out a mouthful of pure scarlet dragon qi, and Xiao Chen's mended bones immediately stabilized. After the blood-soaked dragon emperor blew out this mouthful of pure dragon qi, his figure weakened even further. While the blood-soaked dragon emperor said that he was using his heart force to treat Xiao Chen's injuries, in reality, the blood-soaked dragon emperor himself was the one doing the actual work. The most important thing was still that mouthful of scarlet dragon qi. However, there was no need to tell Xiao Chen about all this. The blood-soaked dragon emperor looked at the demonic qi veritable essence energy and spiritual energy veritable essence energy in the essence movement pill. His expression appeared uncertain, thinking about something. Xiao Chen had asked him why he had not appeared after breaking through to Star Venerate. The blood-soaked dragon emperor did not tell Xiao Chen the true reason. Turning into a demonic qi. Is this an unavoidable fate for all the experts of my blue dragon race? I hope that you are luckier than me. The blood-soaked dragon emperor shook his head and stopped thinking about it. Then, he continued to focus on using his heart force to treat Xiao Chen's injuries. 4 hours were enough. The shattered bones in Xiao Chen's body had already fused back together, and his dragon bones had recovered. The rest was not a big deal. By relying on the strong recovery ability of the dragon race bloodline, Xiao Chen's internal injuries would heal quickly. The blood-soaked dragon emperor stopped, and the surrounding light screen vanished. Xiao Chen's hovering body slowly descended. Big brother! Big brother! There really is a fortuitous encounter. The unconscious Xiao Chen opened his eyes and saw the little monk rushing over to Xiao Chen in wild joy. Without saying a word, the little monk tried to carry him. Whoosh! This startled Xiao Chen. He gently slapped the ground and stood up. Hey big brother, your injuries have healed? Xiao Chen also felt surprised. His dragon bones had healed, and his injuries were mostly healed. This was truly strange. Xiao Chen wanted to ask the blood-soaked dragon emperor about it. However, he discovered that the blood-soaked dragon emperor was already asleep. This was truly surprising. Xiao Chen still had many questions to ask the blood-soaked dragon emperor. For example, he did not have time to ask about the Black Dragon King suppressed in the underground dragon city. Now that my dragon bones have healed, all I need is time to recover from my remaining internal injuries. What fortuitous encounter did you discover? Initially, Xiao Chen just wanted to send the little monk away. Unexpectedly, the little monk actually found a fortuitous encounter. Come with me. There are actually words carved on a stone pillar. I did not have time to take a closer look before I ran over to inform Big Brother. The little monk turned around and led Xiao Chen forward. The underground filled with stone pillars was like a maze. As the two walked, they came to a stone pillar and stopped. Xiao Chen took a look and saw that this seemed to be a treasure pillar with a divine flame. Big brother, look. The words are here. When Xiao Chen looked carefully, it was indeed as he had expected. Many words were carved on a string of stone pillars. I studied heart force for 1,000 years. Before my death, I had to admit that heart force cannot be passed down or imparted. Whether one can comprehend it or not depends on fate. However, there are also some comprehensions that I left behind. If you see them, it can be considered fate. After reading carefully, Xiao Chen and the little monk rejoiced. These were actually the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's comprehensions of heart force. As Xiao Chen continued reading, he saw that Xiao Chen was frowning heavily, feeling vexed. It turned out that the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's comprehensions were also cryptic and hard to understand. They were extremely profound, like a heavenly book. To think that this is the simplified version of heart force. This Scarlet Blood Pirate King is really incredible. He knew that heart force cannot be passed down. Yet he took another path and left behind this heavenly heart art. After cultivating it, One can use soul energy to imitate the simplified version of heart force. After the little monk finished reading, he felt deeply moved and revealed joy on his face. You can understand it? It's very simple. It's even easier to understand than the ancient scriptures I read in the temple. How could I not understand it? What's wrong, big brother? Could it be that you can't understand it? The little monk showed a strange expression as he looked at Xiao Chun, looking like he deserved a beating. Some mockery and some confusion. You can't even understand this? Xiao Chun smiled embarrassedly and said, It's all right. I understand a little. Oh, I thought that big brother did not understand and was prepared to share it. It looks like there is no need. Normally, our abbot would come to me for guidance on the annotations of some ancient scriptures. After the little monk finished speaking with a smile, he sat down and started cultivating. The little monk could understand the ancient scriptures that even the abbot did not understand. If Xiao Chun had known, he would not have had to worry. Xiao Chun felt depressed, but he could not do anything about it. He could only continue reading the scriptures that the Scarlet Blood Pirate King left behind. After reading it 10 times, Xiao Chun finally gained some comprehension. He understood where the heavenly heart art came from. After reading it 100 times, Xiao Chun revealed an expression of understanding. The Scarlet Blood Pirate King was indeed strong. To think that this heavenly heart art could imitate the simplified version of heart force. After comprehending it in his heart, Xiao Chun sat down cross-legged and started to cultivate the heavenly heart art. Xiao Chun's comprehension ability was extremely rare in this world. After he comprehended the heavenly heart art from the words on the stone pillars, his cultivation speed was not slow. In merely 1 hour, the heavenly heart art successfully drew out the soul energy in his soul pool. For hours later he opened his eyes, and a pale white flame could be seen in his palm. This was the heart flame. This was what the Scarlet Blood Pirate King called this simplified version of heart force. True heart force was formless and invisible. However, it was ever-changing and could be used on any martial technique. As Xiao Chun looked at his palm, he felt somewhat vexed at this tiny heart flame. How should I maximize the might of this tiny heart flame? Ah, delightful. Just as Xiao Chun felt vexed, he heard the little monk laughing continuously. Then he saw the little monk leaping around underground and jabbing a finger into the air. With a point of his finger, an illusory figure shot out. The image was a gigantic finger of an ancient Buddha with a faint flame burning inside. This was the heart flame that the little monk just cultivated. When Xiao Chun saw this, he felt horrified. What a fellow! To think that he managed to merge the heart flame and the Buddhist sect's martial technique so quickly. This completely formed a brand new martial technique. Comparing oneself to others would only make one angry. Xiao Chun looked at his palm. He had not figured out how to use the heart flame yet. Then he shook his head and put it away. Originally, this should have been a joyous matter. However, compared to Yan Qin, Xiao Chun could not bring himself to feel happy. Boom! All of a sudden, the gigantic illusory fingers that were randomly weaving among the stone pillars hit one of the stone pillars by accident. Bang! The ancient stone pillar instantly crumbled, falling toward Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun did not find this strange. In the time it took for a spark to fly, he got up and retreated, narrowly dodging the attack. If Xiao Chun had been struck, his newly recovered physical body would not have been able to endure such a blow. However, he still could not avoid being covered in dust. Ha ha ha! Big brother Xiao, how is the might of the heavenly heart finger that I comprehended? Yan Chen said with a smile as he ran over excitedly. Just as Xiao Chun was about to answer, he suddenly felt a terrifying will of soul surpass the many layers of heart force obstruction and sweep over. Fortunately, with the obstruction of the heart force, this will, which should have been incredibly fast, slowed down significantly. Xiao Chun pulled the little monk and quickly retreated, moving behind the stone pillar with the divine flame. Those sovereign personages have not left yet. The little monk whispered with lingering fear in his heart. That is within reason. Xiao Chun remained expressionless. He did not find this unexpected as he thought of a countermeasure. How could the sovereign personages of the demonic Tao sects leave so easily with such vast benefits? Not to mention the faux god flame that could make sovereign personages fall out with, Just the 8 supreme treasures were worth a sovereign personage waiting here for half a year. It would be rather difficult to leave now. The only good news was that the terrifying Heart Force underground deterred sovereign personages from coming down to check. However, the two could not execute their movement techniques due to the Heart Force, so they could not leave. Chapter 1830. A stone pillar suddenly collapsed, but I didn't see the two of them. Strange, what's going on? Could it be that someone can survive a fall? On top of the stone pillar, the 3 elders from the Devil's Sect looked at each other and felt that it was a little difficult to understand. The sudden collapse of the stone pillar had attracted the 3 of them here. However, after looking around, they did not find anything. As for going down, however, the sovereign personages from the 3 great demonic Tao sects all had their own thoughts. The 2 sovereign personages from the Blood Demon Royal Hall and the Fantasy Cloud sect would definitely not take the risk. Although the 2 were sovereign personages, their physical bodies were not heaven-defying. If they fell, they would not fare much better than those holy venerates. As for the Heavenly Eagle Castle's sovereign personage, Xiaochen was confident that he would not fall to his death. But how to get up was a problem for him. He also had to worry about whether the other 2 people up there would trip him up. If he was trapped for 10 or 100 years, that would be too much of a loss. Brother Hong, the demonic cultivation techniques of your Heavenly Eagle Castle mainly cultivate the physical body. How about going down and taking a look? An old man holding a ghost pennant greeted the Heavenly Eagle Castle sovereign personage rather politely. Bullshit. How is that ordinary gravity? It's clearly the legendary Heart Force. I might be fine if I go down, but how am I going to come up? The rather stout Heavenly Eagle Castle sovereign personage shook his head, showing no intention of going down. It's probably a mess now. If the 2 of them were really down there, even if they didn't fall to their deaths, they wouldn't be able to come out. If we really want to break this Heart Force, only if the sect masters of our 3 sects join hands will we have a chance. The Blood Demon Royal Hall's sovereign personage seated on the underworld ghost bird said softly. The faux god flame is sufficient for the 3 sects to work together. However, what if there is no one down there? The 3 sovereign personages discussed endlessly, unable to come to a consensus. In the pitch-black abyss, the little monk and Xiaochen were unable to see or hear the situation above. He could only feel a few terrifying wills piercing through the obstruction of his heart force, and scanning the area several times before leaving. Big brother, what should we do? The little monk asked nervously. Xiaochen said calmly, after they leave, we'll split up and see if there's a way out. In fact, even if he couldn't find a way out, Xiaochen still had another risky method to keep as a record. All right. Xiaochen's calmness infected the little monk. Yenchen's nervousness eased significantly. The vast space was like a labyrinth. To Xiaochen and the little monk, each of the stone pillars was like a heavenly pillar. Looking up, he couldn't see the top at all. Half a day later, the 2 of them met under the divine flame precious pillar. They spread their hands, but neither of them came to a conclusion. I didn't come across any fortuitous encounters. The small monk rubbed his bald head and said gloomily. Xiaochen cursed in his heart. Do you think that opportunities are like cabbages that can be found anywhere? Let's take a break and continue searching. The space was very big. Since the 2 of them had not finished walking, they might still have a chance. Yes. Xiaochen sat down cross-legged and swallowed another healing pill, mobilizing his true essence to speed up the recovery of his injuries. After breaking through to peak early-stage star venerate, Xiaochen had not checked his cultivation properly yet. When he looked inside with his spiritual sense, he saw that the space within the 9-star primal core had expanded significantly. The 9 spots of starlight carved on the primal core had also become increasingly resplendent, vaguely showing signs of breaking out, forming the scene of 9 stars revolving around the primal core. When Xiaochen entered the primal core, the demonic chi veritable essence energy and spiritual energy veritable essence energy maintained a balance. However, they could not fill the entire primal core space like before, being everywhere, leaving no gaps. How to balance the 2 veritable essence energy in the future would be a headache for Xiaochen. Although the Purple Thunder divine incantation had a strange origin, it was a bona fide righteous Tao cultivation technique that absorbed spiritual energy. Demonic Tao cultivation techniques also absorbed spiritual energy. However, the origin of demonic Tao cultivation techniques was comprehended from the ancient Great Desolate Aeon ferocious beasts. Demonic Tao cultivation techniques were completely different from righteous Tao cultivation techniques. They walked the path of being vicious and tyrannical, benefiting only oneself. The demonic Tao cultivation techniques required several times, even 10 times, more veritable essence energy than righteous Tao cultivators. However, when one advanced to the early stages, it was extremely horrifying. Due to the vast amount of veritable essence energy, it was hard to avoid remnant impurities and other energies. The demonic Tao cultivation techniques suppressed the demonic Qi veritable essence energy, pitch black, tyrannical, and horrifying. The pros and cons of such a cultivation method were very clear. It opposed righteous Tao cultivators. It was just like the relationship between humans and Great Desolate Aeon ferocious beasts. It was unavoidable. Right now, what Xiaochen needed was a demonic Tao cultivation technique. After withdrawing his spiritual sense, Xiaochen sent his consciousness into his soul pool. Compared to veritable essence energy, what he valued more was his soul energy. Xiaochen already understood the importance of soul energy when he was in the major primal core realm. After advancing to the star venerate realm, Xiaochen's consciousness could easily inspect his soul pool. His soul pool was as vast and boundless as before. The azure-colored dragon seal formed by his soul hovered in the center. The surroundings were vast and hazy, with a layer of white fog spreading. Many bright spots of light in the sky looked like stars, lighting up his soul pool. The star venerate realm was also known as the starry sky realm. This was because the sky in his soul pool was filled with spots of light. This was a mysterious phenomenon that would appear only after one advanced to star venerate. When starlight flickered in one's eyes, it was like the many stars decorating the sky. Then one's will of soul could fly out. The strong could even let their will of soul truly roam the starry heavens. It was like the primordial spirit of an immortal leaving his body. When Xiaochen opened his eyes again, most of his injuries were already healed. Then he had a simple conversation with the little monk. The two continued exploring the surroundings. When they met again, they returned empty-handed. 3 days later. Big brother, it looks like the two of us will really have to grow old alone here. The two had already explored the space at the bottom of the stone pillar. The surroundings were all dead ends. After obtaining the result, the little monk became more open-minded. Being able to die here with Big Brother Xiao is pretty good. After leaving the temple, aside from Master, I met many people. Either they ran when they saw me or they saw that I was young and wanted to cheat me. Yenchen mumbled a lot. At first it sounded normal. However, as he spoke, tears started flowing out. In the end, the little monk was still young. His eyes had not matured yet, and the childishness on his face had not faded. Thinking about death, he still found it hard to feel happy. Speaking of which, little monk, how old are you? Sob. 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 17. What's wrong? The little monk said in a somewhat choked voice. 17. Xiaochen knew that Yenchen was not yet 20. However, he was surprised. He was not even 18. That made sense. In the end, Yenchen was only 17. How could he let go of the thought of dying here? If it were Xiaochen, he probably would not be able to do it, either. Wait a minute. 17 years old, Silver Buddhist Light. Master said that my birth is the greatest blessing. He suspects that I am the reincarnation of an esteemed monk. My comprehension ability and talent are even more terrifying than that of a demonic genius. Suddenly, many scenes flashed in Xiaochen's mind. The fragmented memories of the dragon race expert's faux god flame suddenly appeared. The silver Buddhist light did not represent the reincarnation of an esteemed monk. Instead, it was the reincarnation of a Buddha, the reincarnation of a Buddha from the previous epoch that rivaled an immortal. 17 years. When Xiaochen thought about the time, he happened to match up with that Buddha. Mahasvara Buddha. Mahasvara Buddha. Suddenly, Xiaochen felt somewhat excited in his heart. There was an answer to all these questions. Buddhists talk about fate and believe in karma. I saw some Buddhist essence in you. Perhaps we can meet again. In that instant, Xiaochun recalled the words of the Mahasvara Buddha before he passed away. This fate has not been extinguished and karma still exists. The little monk's body was covered in killing and sin. One could say that he was covered in filth. However, his heart was pure, clean, crystalline, and transparent. Great freedom. Everything about the little monk was now firmly in line with these 3 words. Buddha is in my heart, and Buddha is a true Buddha. If there is no Buddha in my heart, how can I find a true Buddha? With Buddha in one's heart, even if one committed overwhelming sin and killed boundlessly, one can still be free and unfettered. Xiaochun pressed his palms together and solemnly bowed to the little monk. This fate has not been extinguished, and karma still exists. Venerable, you are right. Thank you. Whether it was the Adumbra Buddha on the Emperor's Road, you saved my life, Xiaochun, or the Buddhist sex magic skill, Dermic World, which allowed me to escape danger several times, or the various instructions you gave me before you passed away, or now, when the Sarira entered my body and suppressed the demonic nature in my body, both of them received a bow from me, Xiaochun. Chapter 1831. Xiaochun's inexplicable bow immediately confused the little monk. He smiled between tears and said, Big brother, I am not an esteemed monk or a Buddha. It is useless for you to bow to me. The 2 of us will still be trapped here until we die. However, right after the little monk spoke, he saw the image of a large Buddha behind Xiaochun. This Buddha pressed his palms together and smiled, exuding a supreme Buddhist might. This was not the strangest thing. The strangest thing was that the little monk actually felt that this large Buddha image was smiling at him. Who said that the 2 of us will die here? Xiaochun looked up at the little monk and smiled faintly, feeling a sense of familiarity. That's not it. Big brother, I saw a Buddha behind you earlier. The little monk felt incredibly shocked. Fearing that Xiaochun would not believe him, he emphasized, It's true. It really is a large Buddha. It even smiled at me. Of course, Xiaochun believed it. However, he would not tell the little monk the reason. Illusion. Illusion? However, that is clearly not the case. That's right. Big brother, you said earlier that we don't have to die here? The little monk exclaimed in pleasant surprise as he suddenly recalled something. Xiaochun nodded. I never said that we will die here, if we cannot find the way out. We just have to take some risks. What method? The little monk asked curiously, feeling interested. Xiaochun did not answer. He only took out the scarlet blood war banner and held it tightly with both hands. Then he closed his eyes and sensed the black cutlass cruising the vast sea. His essence, blood and soul had already merged with the immemorial demon soul formation. No matter where the black cutlass was, as long as he focused, he could sense it. This was because the black cutlass was already a part of him. I see it. I see it. Slowly, a scene appeared in Xiaochun's mind. In this scene, Xiao Suo and the others were cruising the sea on the black cutlass. People came and went on the ship. The strange black cutlass gave off a layer of scarlet mist as it bobbed up and down in the waves. Xiaochun's consciousness slowly sank in. Soon he saw the immemorial demon soul formation in the compartment. There was a terrifying heartbeat in the depths of the scarlet demon soul formation, thumping continuously. Within the hazy blood mist, one could vaguely see an extremely terrifying, evil and ferocious beast grinning. The little monk who was standing on Xiaochun suddenly felt a terrifying demonic aura coming from his body. Xiaochun's long hair danced wildly in the wind. His eyes were pitch black and full of devilishness, causing others to not dare to look directly at him. Slowly, this wave of demonic might continuously strengthened. If it wasn't for the heart force here stopping it, it might have already rushed into the heavens and caused a great phenomenon. Not good. The little monk's keen senses told him that something was wrong. He rolled on the ground. With a loud bang, a demonic ship shrouded in a bloody mist appeared out of nowhere. As Xiaochun stood at the bow of the ship, Xiao Suo and the others rushed out of the deck, putting up their guard and feeling suspicious. When Xiaochun, who was at the bow of the ship, saw him, his expression relaxed. Young Master Xiao, what is going on? Elder Tang and the others asked in confusion. We'll talk about it later. Xiao Sua, come here for a moment. Xiao Chun turned around and withdrew his demonic might, returning to normal. Then his gaze fell on Xiao Su. Xiao Sua felt that something was wrong. His intuition told him that something big was about to happen to him. Big brother, what's the matter? Xiao Sua asked as he looked at Xiao Chun, showing a nervous expression and feeling somewhat nervous in his heart. Xiao Chun did not say anything. He opened his palm, and the faux god flame that the Scarlet Blood Pirate King left behind slowly appeared, hovering in the air. Senior, what do you think of this person? This is the person you chose for me? His talent is ordinary, and he is rather old. Just when Xiao Chun thought that it was hopeless, the faux god flame changed the topic. Its voice rang out in his mind again. However, he does have a pure pirate's heart, something that you do not have. However, this is what I value the most. Back then, my talent was also ordinary. As long as one maintained a pure pirate's heart, one could become a legendary pirate king. That would not be incredible no matter what era it was. Xiao Chun smiled faintly. Indeed, it was as he expected. Back then, when the Scarlet Blood Pirate Kings said that he lacked something, Xiao Chun recalled that he lacked a pirate's heart. He realized that what he lacked was a pirate's heart. Xiao Chun's ambition was not this. How could he have a pirate's heart? This was very normal. Xiao Sua, this clump of flame represents the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's inheritance. Today, I will pass this fortuitous encounter to you on behalf of Senior Scarlet Blood Pirate King. I hope that you will not bring disgrace to the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's name in the future, and persevere in your pirate's heart. Xiao Chun enunciated every word seriously as he looked at Xiao Sua. Big brother, this fortuitous encounter is too great. I cannot accept it. I am not too ambitious. I just want to drift on the sea for the rest of my life. Big brother, you are? Xiao Sua still wanted to say something, but Xiao Chun interrupted him. Xiao Chun smiled and said, don't say any more. Back then, even I misjudged this Scarlet Blood War banner at the auction. It was you. You were the one who personally won this war banner. This is the will of the heavens. This fortuitous encounter was prepared for you, Xiao Sua. Before Xiao Sua could reject, the faux god flame in Xiao Chen's hand directly entered Xiao Sua's forehead. Whoosh! A fierce flame immediately blazed on Xiao Sua's body. An incredibly vast aura surged out from his body. Without exception, Xiao Chun and the others on the deck were all knocked back by this aura. The Iron Hand Yama and Elder Tang, who were more knowledgeable, immediately petrified on the spot, feeling startled. Faux god flame. This is the legendary faux god flame. The Iron Hand Yama muttered. It really is a faux god flame. Furthermore, it is the faux god flame left behind by the legendary pirate, the Scarlet Blood Pirate King. Suddenly realizing something, the Iron Hand Yama looked at Xiao Chun and asked, Xiao Chun, did you snatch this from Yenjia? Xiao Chun shook his head and said, no. Indeed, Xiao Chun had taken it from under the noses of 10-odd holy venerates, including Yenjia, and the many demonic Dao sect true inheritors. What about Yenjia? Elder Tang and the Iron Hand Yama looked around, feeling cautious and fearful. Clearly, Yenjia left too great an impression on them, nearly leaving a barrier in their hearts that they could not overcome. Hee. I killed him with one saber strike. The little monk Yen Chen said with a cocky expression as he ran over with a smile. Where did this little bald donkey come from? Just chant the scriptures properly and stop messing around. The Iron Hand Yama looked over speechlessly, not believing Yen Chen at all. If it were in the past, he would have directly pushed the little monk away when he was in a bad temper. Xiao Chen said softly, I did indeed die at his hands. Without him, I would not have survived until now. Let me introduce you. This is Yen Chen, a Buddhist sect expert from the Central Great Realm. He is known as Cough. The little monk coughed, and Xiao Chen recalled. He smiled and said, his nickname is not important. What is important is that Yenjia did indeed die at his hands. You don't have to worry about Yenjia appearing again in the future. The Iron Hand Yama and Elder Tang showed shocked expressions as they looked at the little monk in disbelief. However, since this was what Xiao Chen said, it was absolutely true. It was nothing much. Seniors, there is no need to be too shocked. The little monk Yen-chen smiled faintly, showing the demeanor of an expert. Whoosh. Just at this moment, Xiao Sua's aura on the deck suddenly withdrew. In the next moment he opened his eyes, and a brilliant light flashed in them. Xiao Sua did not open his cultivation. However, his gaze was deep and calm. Everyone could sense that Xiao Sua was no longer the same as he was in the past. Envy flashed in the eyes of the Iron Hand Yama and Elder Tang. Of course, the two would not hold any grudges. Xiaochen had risked his life to obtain this faux god flame. The two would not mind who Xiaochen gave the inheritance to. However, they could not help but feel disappointed. Big brother. Xiao Sua leaped into the air and landed before Xiaochen. Xiaochen nodded slightly. I already obtained the complete memories of the Scarlet Blood Pirate King. Although the treasures in this stone pillar are very difficult to take out, the entire Scarlet Blood Pirate King's body is filled with vast treasures. However, the entire Scarlet Blood Pirate King's body is filled with vast treasures. What we have seen now is just the tip of the iceberg. Xiao Sua's aura turned much steadier. While he spoke of shocking matters, he was now incredibly calm and steady. Xiaochen was not surprised by Xiao Sua's words. In his opinion, the entire 100,000 Great Peaks were the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's body. Just this body alone was already so valuable that it was immeasurable. Right now, Xiaochen was not concerned about this. He nodded and said, right now there are still some sovereign personages in the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's body. We are trapped here, unable to get out. Xiao Sua smiled calmly and said, that is simple. Xiao Sua gently snapped his fingers, and a mark appeared in the bodies of Xiao Chun and the others. In the next moment, Xiao Sua snapped his fingers again. He smiled and said, it's done. I have already sent out all those without the scarlet blood mark in their bodies. The cave entrance is also closed. They have inherited the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's will. Even if sovereign personages gather here, they will have to obey the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's will. Come, let's go to the blazing sea of blood. The Scarlet Blood Pirate King's worship is there. Chapter 1832. After inheriting the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's will, Xiao Sua was like a monarch in the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's physical body. He could easily do many things that were unimaginable in the eyes of ordinary people. For example, with 2 snaps of his fingers, he could easily move those sovereign personages away. With a thought, the black cutlass carried everyone into the blazing scarlet sea like it teleported. The problem that had troubled Xiao Chun and the small monk was easily solved just like that. How miraculous! I came out just like that. On the deck, the little monk stood at the bow of the ship. As he looked at the boundless blazing sea of blood, he sighed ruefully. Boom! 10,000 li ahead, the scarlet flame waves parted, revealing a majestic scarlet pirate ship. With a tremendous pressure, it rode the wind and broke through the waves. Scarlet Blood Warship. The pirate crew of the Black Cutlass immediately felt excited. However, when the Scarlet Blood pirate ship got closer, they discovered that the ship was in ruins. It looked old, as if it had gone through a heaven-shaking battle. It had already been tens of thousands of years, and they hadn't had the time to rest. Xiaochen saw it clearly. Not bad, the skeleton is still there, and the formation is not damaged. You just need to repair it slowly. I don't think you can afford to give you a legendary battleship all at once. Xiao Sua nodded. Before the Scarlet Blood Pirate King died, he seemed to have purposely arranged this. Regardless, it's not too bad. It has a solid foundation, and with enough resources, it will become a legendary battleship sooner or later. Xiao Chun sighed lightly, and only after a long time did he say, it's time to part ways. Both of you can enter closed-door cultivation here for a while. There are still many fortuitous encounters in the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's body. After cultivating here for half a year, he will definitely gain a lot. Xiao Sua knew what Xiaochen meant. The moment the Black Cutlass completely demonized, it was no longer suitable for the crew to remain. Big brother, thank you. Xiao Sua said solemnly as he looked at Xiaochen. For a moment, he did not know what to say. Xiaochen smiled casually and said, don't stand on ceremony with me. It's settled then. What about you, big brother? Do you need to go into seclusion here? There's no need for that. The biggest thing I've understood here is that I've broken the demon barrier in my heart. I've already wasted too much time, and I can't delay any longer. I have to go to the place I want to go. Take care. Xiao Suo did not force Xiaochen to stay. He called out, and everyone on the Black Cutlass came over to say goodbye to Xiaochen. After this parting, he really did not know when they would have the chance to meet again. Luo Nan and Faber, the young couple, Elder Tang, and the Iron Hand Yama were much more saddened than the others. Big brother Xiaochen, take care. Feier will miss you too. Feier was still the same as before. Every time they parted, her eyes would be filled with tears. On the other hand, Luo Nan appeared rather calm. He performed a cupped fist salute and said, Big brother Xiao, although I do not know what you are going to do, I can sense it. This trip of big brother Xiao's was not easy. Xiaochen was very satisfied to have such a group of friends to send him off when he was leaving. Goodbye, Xiaochen said with a cupped fist salute. He felt some reluctance in his heart. He did not know when they would meet again. At the bow of the Scarlet Blood Warship, Xiao Suo held up the Scarlet Blood War banner and ferociously waved it. Then an irresistible force sent the Black Cutlass out. This was because Xiaochen had specifically instructed the Scarlet Blood Warship to be sent as far as possible, lest they ran into the people of the three great demonic Dao sections. When the Black Cutlass reappeared, Xiaochen did not know where it was either. Looking at the little monk beside him, Xiaochen smiled and said, It's just the two of us again. Hehe. Speaking of which, big brother, are you going to the Central Great Realm? Yes. Where exactly? The Central Great Realm is incredibly vast. There are 4 dynasties, 8 empires, many tribes, and all sorts of desolate places. It is simply too big. The dragon race. That is the Divine Dragon Empire. That is a good place. However, I have never been there before and am not very familiar with it. Xiaochen felt excited. The little monk before him came from the Central Great Realm. He could ask the little monk for advice on how to get to the Central Great Realm. Oh right. Little monk, I still have not asked why you came to the Ash Gray Sea? Xiaochen asked out of curiosity. The little monk scratched his head and smiled. There is a heavenly book scholar in the Yinwu dynasty. He is good at divination and knows the dragon-seeking art. He is known as the Book of All Things. There is no fate that he cannot divine. Many people seek him out to divine their fortuitous encounters. I was curious, so I sought him out as well. Then, he said that the greatest fortuitous encounter of my life is in the Myriad Star Mountain. Then, I came here in a daze. The heavenly book scholar? The Book of All Things? Interesting. If there is a chance, I should see for myself. I can get him to divine for me and see if he is really that divine. However, the Ash Gray Sea should be very far from the Central Great Realm. How did you get here? Compared to the heavenly book scholar, Xiaochen was more concerned about this. How to get to the Central Great Realm. There are trans-realm transportation formations. The Ash Gray Sea has them as well. However, they require a lot of spirit jades, and there is a limit to how long they can be activated. They are all ancient transportation formations that require frequent maintenance. Good. Bring me to the trans-realm transportation formation. That should not be a problem, right? Hehe. Leave it to me. Although I am rather unlucky, I don't think I have ever gotten lost. Xiaochen entered deep thought. As he looked at the little monk's confident expression, he thought to himself, I still have to prepare another backup plan. I cannot place all my hopes on the little monk. Whoosh. In the next moment, Xiaochen's figure vanished and reappeared in his cultivation room. With a casual wave, the 8 supreme treasures that he obtained from the stone pillar with the divine flame appeared one by one. That's not right. There are only 7 now. I gave one of them to the little monk, the Kusaya. After subduing these supreme treasures, Xiaochen had not had time to look at them. Actually, Xiaochen had been anticipating them for a long time already. Then he looked around and fixed his gaze on the peak-grade spirit jades. Xiaochen thought to himself, the value of the peak-grade spirit jades already surpasses that of spirit jades. They are treasures of the world. Even a sovereign personage would desire them. Everything else aside, just the spiritual energy contained in the peak-grade spirit jades could allow Xiaochen to break through to middle-stage star venerate without any difficulty. The most important thing was that the spiritual energy in it was exceptionally pure and dense, not containing any impurities. If Xiaochen relied on it to advance, he would not need to spend time consolidating his veritable essence energy. However, it was too much of a pity to use it now. Furthermore, he could not maximize its value. After putting it away, Xiaochen's gaze landed on the medicinal pill that was clearly for ferocious beasts to consume. This medicinal pill was about the size of a chicken egg. It was bright red, and a flame burned on its surface. One could easily feel its ferocious and tyrannical medicinal energy, without even consuming it. Clearly, Xiaochen had no use for it. If the demon blood vulture were here, he could consider letting it consume it. After all, it had followed him for a long time. Unfortunately, Xiaochen did not know where it ran off to. He could only put it away for now and think about it in the future. Next was the pipa. As Xiaochen gently plucked it, a melodious sound rang out, sounding exceptionally clean. This was also a soul tool. It was very valuable, but Xiaochen could not tell how valuable it was. After all, Xiaochen was not proficient in everything. He knew very little about musical instruments. Suddenly, Xiaochen thought of a person, and his lips curled up in a smile. It was not headliner Ling Long but his martial nephew Ling Yu. Didn't Ling Yu already admire headliner Ling Long for a long time, and even set a 5-year time limit with her? Xiaochen decided to keep it for Ling Yu. When Ling Yu went to ask for her, he would use it as a betrothal gift. The remaining items were a ghost pennant, a treasure bow, a secret manual, and a mutated fruit. These were the 4 supreme treasures that Xiaochen valued the most. These 4 items were of direct help to Xiaochen's strength. With a wave of his hand, Xiaochen grasped the treasure bow. Then he looked at it carefully and saw 3 words carved on it. God's Shadow. It turned out that this bow was called the God Shadow bow. Did it mean that the arrows it fired were like the afterimages left behind by a god? Just this name inspired Xiaochen's anticipation and excitement. In the past, Xiaochen also liked using bows. Back in the Sky Dome realm, that Soul Slayer had helped him kill many strong enemies. There was a bow but no arrows. However, there should be some arrows in his storage ring. After searching, Xiaochen found many arrows. However, they were all high-quality arrows forged in the Sky Dome realm. He did not know if they could be used with the God Shadow bow. Suddenly, Xiaochen thought of something. He circulated the heavenly heart art, and a strand of heart flame soared up from his palm. This was a simplified version of heart force formed from soul energy. Xiaochen thought back to when the little monk easily shattered an ancient stone pillar with the heavenly heart finger. The might of the heart force was still fresh in Xiaochen's mind. At that time, he had been worrying about how to use this heart flame. Now that he had a bow and arrows, Xiaochen immediately thought of how to use them. A smile appeared on Xiaochen's face as he put away the God Shadow bow. Then he went to look for the little monk, Yin Chun, with a smile on his face. "Big brother, why are you smiling so happily? What's the matter?" The little monk asked out of curiosity, not knowing that danger was approaching. "After you comprehended the heavenly heart finger, you have not had an opponent to practice with. I thought about it and decided that since I have nothing to do, I might as well help you practice with it." Xiaochen showed a calm expression, not showing any fluctuations as he spoke softly. The little monk smiled and said, "Haha, Big brother really understands me. My hands have been itching for the past few days. After I comprehended my unique secret technique, I could not find an opponent to practice with. It was very frustrating. However, the heavenly heart finger is very mighty. Furthermore, I just comprehended it. I will not take responsibility if I accidentally injure Big brother." Xiaochen smiled and said, "Don't worry. Just do your best." The two went to the deck and pointed to the sea. Then the little monk leaped off and flew 1 kilometer. A little further. Whoosh! The ash-gray sea moved like it was flat ground. The little monk flew 5 kilometers away and shouted, "Is that enough?" Still not enough. After moving 100 kilometers, Xiaochen verified that the little monk's vision was somewhat blurry. Then he took out the god shadow bow and knocked an arrow. Why does it feel like something is wrong? The little monk said, feeling it was strange as he scratched his head. Chapter 1833. On the deck, Xiaochen knocked an arrow on the god shadow bow. Then he grasped the bow handle. In that instant he felt a connection with the bow. Suddenly, a mysterious perception came from the god shadow bow. Xiaochen's field of vision zoomed in. This was the power of the god shadow bow. He did not circulate any veritable essence energy or open his heavenly eye. The instant Xiaochen grasped the bow, his field of vision zoomed in. It felt like he was only 1 kilometer away from 50 kilometers away. He was so close that he could see everything clearly. The perception from the god shadow bow was still searching for its target. When the god shadow bow saw the little monk hundreds of kilometers away, the god shadow bow's perception quickly searched for its target. When it saw the little monk hundreds of kilometers away, a vague question immediately appeared in Xiaochen's mind. That was the god shadow bow's consciousness, asking Xiaochen if he was the target. This was probably the feeling of being connected by heart and flesh. After the god shadow bow obtained Xiaochen's confirmation, the perception in front instantly focused on the little monk's body. The little monk, who felt that something was wrong, moved quickly, flashing about. The little monk's movement technique was so terrifying that even a regular holy venerate would not be able to catch him. However, no matter how the little monk moved, Xiaochen could see all the trajectories clearly. A formless line shot out from the god shadow bow, firmly locking onto the little monk. Between the 2 points and the line, Xiaochen, you do not need to do anything else. You only need to draw the bowstring. Even if you hide to the ends of the world, it will be useless. Buzz. Xiaochen slowly drew the bowstring. He immediately felt his soul energy flow into the bow like flowing water. However, the bowstring did not move at all, showing no intention of moving at all. I can't draw it. Xiaochen immediately felt startled. He felt that he had gone overboard. He had underestimated the might of a soul tool. Furthermore, the bow in his hand was no ordinary soul tool. The 8 supreme treasures that the Scarlet Blood Pirate King had purposely collected were all very special. It was very likely that the little monk would really die after this arrow was shot. Not to mention using the heart flame, just shooting this arrow made Xiaochen's heart pound. However, there was no turning back. Little monk, I can only let you down. After draining a third of Xiaochen's soul energy, the god shadow bow's bowstring finally drew back by 1 centimeter. Boom. Just as Xiaochen was about to let go, the arrow knocked on the bow exploded, unable to withstand the immense force. A huge hole instantly appeared on the deck of the demonic ship. The huge force sent Xiaochen flying on the spot, and his body directly crashed into the observation deck. With a bang, Xiaochen spat out a mouthful of blood and collapsed to the ground. His face was extremely weak. The bowstring was still vibrating slightly, and the remaining energy exploded in all directions. Bang! Bang! The defenses of the black cutlass appeared extremely weak before this power. One after another, huge holes were blasted open. Waves rolled in all directions, causing the entire ship to shake violently. A moment later, the entire demonic ship was blown up, leaving only its skeleton. Xiaochen struggled to get up. He let out a bitter laugh when he saw this scene. This time, he had indeed gone too far and played himself. There was a reason why soul tools were called soul treasures. No wonder only rank 6 demonic sects knew of them. Ordinary people could not control them as they pleased. The price of a mistake would not be as simple as death. Big brother, what are you doing? Why don't I understand? The little monk heard the terrifying explosion and rushed over. The scene before him stunned him. The completed black cutlass was riddled with holes. Xiaochen's complexion was pale and weak. For an instant earlier, I felt death approaching. No matter what I did, I could not shake it off. That nearly scared me to death. Big brother, quickly tell me what martial technique you used the heavenly heart art to research. I really do not understand at all. The little monk said excitedly, not understanding what was going on. He thought that Xiaochen had used the heavenly heart finger to comprehend an extremely terrifying martial technique like him. In the end, the little monk did not grasp the degree of control, resulting in failure. Xiao Chen said indifferently, "If you can understand it, am I still your big brother? Quickly go and capture a ferocious beast for me. The more ferocious, the better." Okay. Yan Chen scratched his head and left to carry out the order. How unlucky. As Xiao Chen looked at the black cutlass, he felt like crying, but no tears came out. However, after being with the little monk, his heart had already become very strong. He was mentally prepared for any misfortune. Fortunately, this black cutlass was now a demonic ship. It only needed one ferocious beast. After the immemorial demon soul formation absorbed flesh and souls, the ship could slowly recover. There was no need to worry. Holding the god shadow bow, Xiao Chen carefully put it away. He made up his mind not to use it unless he had no other choice. The god shadow bow was a great killing tool. He could not test the might of the heart flame. Instead, he might as well use an ordinary bow to test it. After rummaging through his storage ring, Xiao Chen took out the dust-covered Soul Slayer bow. Then, he gently patted the bow to get rid of the dust. When he saw this bow, he could not help thinking about the past in the Sky Dome realm. He remembered that this bow could bring out a lot of might based on how much vital chi one had. Its origins were very mysterious. One could draw this bow only with pure vital chi. However, Xiao Chen knew that there was no such thing as a limit in this world. The Kunlun realm had not tested this bow's limits yet. Now was a good time to test it out. Boom! Xiao Chen knocked an arrow, drew the bow, and drew the bowstring. When Xiao Chen used one cauldron force, it startled him slightly. To think that he did not draw the bow to its fullest. Xiao Chen continued to pour in more vital chi. Soon, it reached 10 cauldron force. Xiao Chen discovered that the more vital chi he infused, the more horrifying the resistance he faced. He could not help feeling startled. What exactly was the origin of this bow? Now that he was in the Kunlun realm, he still could not draw it to its fullest. After thinking about it, there was only one possibility. Xiao Chen could only say that when forging this bow, the formation he infused in it might have been an immortal Dao formation from the previous epoch. The strength of the formation made up for the bow's inferior material. By the time Xiao Chen used 20 cauldron force, the bowstring was still not drawn to its fullest. Dragon roars rang out endlessly in his body. As Xiao Chen drew the Soul Slayer bow, his aura soared continuously. An item from the Sky Dome realm gave him a pleasant surprise. The heavenly heart art slowly circulated, and a strand of heart flame appeared at the tail of the arrow. Then it spread out and merged with the entire arrow. Whoosh! Xiao Chen let go, and the arrow infused with heart flame soared into the sky. The arrow immediately pierced through a late-stage star venerate ferocious beast in the sky. It cried out miserably as it fell into the sea. The black cutlass pounced over like a hungry tiger. The immemorial demon soul formation activated, and scarlet demonic chi spread out, quickly swallowing up the ferocious beast. As the black cutlass swallowed up the ferocious beast, the blood mist spreading out thickened. The holes in the black cutlass slowly healed. Xiao Chen stood upright while holding the bow, entering deep thought. It seemed to be weaker than the little monk's heavenly heart finger. However, it was much faster. Furthermore, the drain was negligible. Xiao Chen took out another arrow. However, this time, he knocked 3 arrows at the same time. The 3 arrows infused with heart flame tore through the sky. In the next moment, 3 miserable cries came from the sky as 3 ferocious beasts fell into the water. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and said, "Without a doubt, this simplified version of heart force is the most perfect combination with the bow and arrow." Then Xiao Chen knocked another arrow. Using only one cauldron force, he drew the bowstring and opened his heavenly eye. Immediately, Xiao Chen's vision expanded. Using his heavenly eye, he allowed the Soul Slayer bow in his hand to reach a level similar to the God Shadow bow. Xiao Chen wanted to test the limits of the heart flame's range and might when infused with an arrow. Soon, his vision extended to 500 kilometers. Then, Xiao Chen locked on to a towering mountain. Boom! The instant Xiao Chen let go, that towering mountain turned into dust and vanished from the vast sea. This development stunned Xiao Chen. In the next moment he startled awake. What fast speed! This was already a power that the Soul Slayer Bao could not achieve. Heart Force, even the simplified version of Heart Force, had a flabbergasting might. The faster one's heart was, the faster one's arrow would be. The farther one's heart was, the farther one's arrow would be. Suddenly, Xiao Chun gained some comprehension of Heart Force. He vaguely felt like he had touched something. Heart Force is indeed unfathomable. Back then, when I saw those stone pillar spaces in the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's body, I felt that they were boundlessly vast, comparable to the starry heavens. Perhaps they were influenced by the Scarlet Blood Pirate King's heart force. Xiao Chun collected his thoughts and muttered to himself. No matter what, he had figured out how to use this simplified version of heart force, just like the little monk. The little monk was the reincarnation of a great Buddha. His horrifying comprehension ability could not be judged by the standards of ordinary people. The heavenly heart finger was not created by just anyone. Even without Xiao Chun's comprehension ability, he could still find a way to use heart force that was not inferior to the little monk's. It was already something to be proud of. Satisfied, Xiao Chun put away the Soul Slayer Bao. There were still 3 supreme treasures that he had not looked at carefully. One was a secret manual, one was the Qiongqi Beast Ghost Pennant, and one was a wondrous mutated fruit. Just by smelling the mutated fruit, Xiao Chun felt a comfortable chill. He felt an urge to burn his bloodline. This was a mutated fruit that strengthened the physique and improved the power of one's bloodline. Its ability was the same as the life juice source that Xiao Chun once obtained. However, its effects should be vastly different. It was not time to consume it yet. Xiao Chun put away the mutated fruit and looked at the ghost pennant. Since Xiao Chun had the experience of using a soul tool before, he took a quick look at it. Then he only left his mark in the ghost pennant before placing it in his storage ring. Just thinking about the god Shadow Bao, he knew that the ghost pennant's might was not far from it. Finally, there was only one secret manual left. The words Demonic Cloud Heaven Swallowing Art were written on the cover. Xiao Chun gave it a cursory look. This was an extremely tyrannical demonic Dao cultivation technique. The demonic clouds that lingered in the starry sea formed because the Scarlet Blood Pirate King cultivated this demonic Dao cultivation technique. After flipping through it, Xiao Chun carefully put it away as well. Indeed, he lacked a demonic Dao cultivation technique. Although this demonic Dao cultivation technique was tyrannical, it did not require one to eat humans or absorb souls. It was directly comprehended from the ancient ferocious beast, the demonic cloud bird. Its origins were extremely ancient. Xiao Chun made up his mind. The demonic Dao cultivation technique that he would cultivate in the future would be this demonic cloud heaven swallowing art. However, speaking of which, the little monk has been gone for so long. Why is he not back yet? The black cutlass had swallowed a few ferocious beasts and had already recovered. Ha 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 ha. Big brother, I'm back. I found a huge bird for you. It is definitely very ferocious. I nearly let it run away. Just as Xiao Chun was thinking, the little monk's familiar laughter came from the distance. He saw the little monk in a somewhat sorry state, with some horrifying wounds on his body. However, he had a smile on his face. The little monk dragged a huge scarlet bird as he walked on the surface of the sea, slowly heading towards the black cutlass. Nearly all the feathers on that huge bird had been plucked clean, looking very miserable. He struggled ceaselessly and let out miserable howls, but he just couldn't break free. Xiao Chun frowned slightly. Why did this bird's voice sound somewhat familiar? Furthermore, that figure and silhouette seemed familiar. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.